flower I've ever seen.
The Iowa Hawkeyes.
Beat Washington! Beat Washington! Beat Washington!
Well, look at that sight. It's almost as if some master painted that picture. And now quiet in the Rose Bowl, but not for long. University of Washington team out of its dressing room in the tunnel. And what a thrill it must be, Merlin Olsen, for the players themselves to see for the first time the bowl filled. The only time they've seen this prior to today was 100,000 plus empty seats.
Dick, I've got to tell you that they've looked forward to being here. These last few minutes before they come out on the field had to be the longest minutes of some of their lives. Those seconds just crawling by.
The Washington voices are going to be outnumbered by Iowa. The Hawkeye fans have come in droves from the Midwest to cheer the Iowa team, and they're going to get a chance to exercise vocally for the first time in just a moment. For Iowa is ready to come aboard. It's been a long time. Can you believe it? 20 years without a winning season. Their first winning year in 2 decades, and they're in the Rose Bowl. That's Cinderella stuff.
All kinds of black and gold throughout this stand. I think half the state of Iowa is empty today. Either that or locked up in front of television sets. Hayden Fry has been sick. You might notice him looking a little bit poorly. He's been right down in bed for a couple of days. Here they come.
Washington of the Pacific 10, Big Ten's representative, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and we'll have the flip of the coin and the kickoff in just a moment.
We need a high-minded...
Off a great club, Nebraska in the opener, then fell to Iowa State, beat the 6th-ranked UCLA team at that time 20-7, and then went on, had a little slump at midseason, losing to Minnesota and Illinois, finished with 3 consecutive wins over Purdue, Wisconsin, and Michigan State to get the co-championship.
This was supposed to be a down year for the Huskies. In fact, they redshirted most of their junior class, a good many of them, but look what they did during the season. A much faster start than expected. Upset against Arizona State, 26-7. The low point, however, came in that loss UCLA inflicted to them in the Coliseum, 31-0. I'm sure they were all on the ground then, but they came roaring back with 2 big wins, and they're here today.
Don James and Hayden Fry. Deep to return, Aaron Williams and Anthony Allen for the Huskies, and Reggie Roby, the consensus All-American punter. Great leg, will kick it off. Yards deep, and Allen will sit on it. Washington has it at the 20-yard line. The Huskies offense will be guided by sophomore Steve Pallure at quarterback. He's matured tremendously. Vince Kobe, veteran fullback and the tailback and leading rusher for the Huskies. Ron Jackson had over 600 yards on the ground. Wide receiving core is excellent. Anthony Allen, Paul Scansey, already number 2 in Washington history in receptions, and the tight end, a converted fullback, Willie Roseborough. First play from scrimmage. Allen to the left, Scansey to the right. Tough defense. Iowa led the Big Ten in almost every defensive category, and they show why. Against the run, 2 yards for Kobe as he's smothered by that interior defense. Number 74, Jim Pekar, made the first hit. The line, Paul Cody at center. The guards are 57, James Carter, and 62, Andy Breslin. At tackle, and they are giants. Eric Moran is 291, and Don Dow, 277.
They're going to have their hands full with a very big and active front wall for Iowa.
Second down, 8. Pallure gets only a yard. Number 63, Mark Bortz, spearheaded the charge. And here is the defensive alignment of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Bortz, Dean, Pekar, Webb, Tippett along the front line. Simonson and Cole are the backers. King and Proctor at the corners. Stoops and Frazier at safety. 3rd down and 7. Pallure in a passing situation. And he's going to throw. Open over the middle of Scansey. And he has a first down at the 33-yard line. Yancey from Gig Harbor, Washington. 88 catches in his 3 years. A junior is already number 2 in Washington history. As we identified the play before, there's the defensive alignment. Tippett, Gorge, Dean, Kakar, and Webb.
3 of those, of course, all Big Ten players.
Noel Cole also all Big Ten, one of the linebackers. And Luke King at the corner is all Big Ten. First down play. Valor, plenty of time, has a man. Complete to Allen. First down at the 45. So Steve Valor, Scott, his older brother in the National Football League, has completed passes of 10 and now 11 yards.
During this season, the Huskies ran the ball 70% of the time. I think they knew they were going to have to throw the football today if they're going to beat this Hawkeye defense. He's thrown twice, completed twice. That was a very fine pass, right on target. Strong young arm from Valor.
Allen, who led the Huskies with 29 catches this year, and a player is down at midfield. One of the defensive
Tracy Crocker,
backs.
I believe, one of the corners.
And they're looking at the right knee. Crocker from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, went to Kennedy High School there, a senior, lettering for the 4th time as a Hawkeye.
Dick, one of the things that Coach James was concerned about, we talked a lot about the weather. If you look at the rest of the defense for the Hawkeyes, and we mentioned it, it's Tracy Crocker who is on the ground over there. But one of the things that Coach James was really concerned about was handling this very strong and aggressive front wall of the Iowa defense. And he said, I want a nice day. He said, we're going to have to throw the football, and if that ball is slick, it would really hurt us. He got his wish there, and they are throwing the football.
It is not Tracy Crocker, and we apologize, but Bobby Stoops, number 41, the injured Iowa player, and able to get off with just some mild assistance. Let's hope the junior from Youngstown, Ohio, will be able to get back into the game. He's one of only 2 juniors. All the rest are seniors on that Iowa defense.
It's still a family affair. His replacement, number 2, Mike Stoops, his brother, will be going in for him.
20-year-old sophomore. First down, Washington at the Husky 45. Jackson with his first carry. He's got speed, and he picks up about 6 yards to the Iowa 49. Finally tackled from behind by Andre Tippett, number 99.
Andre Tippett, great All-American. Mike White, the coach at Indiana, said without question the finest defensive player he's seen since he went to Indiana. Now watch quickly the pursuit that he gets from the inside just overwhelms Cookie Jackson, but Jackson doing a good job of getting outside. Not many people picked up that kind of yardage consistently against this Hawkeye defense during the season.
Second down, a short 5. Both receivers to the left. Valor goes left and finds Allen for a first down at the Iowa 40. Allen with a 9-yard reception, his second of this game. His brother Patrick is a cornerback at your alma mater, Utah State.
Tracy Crocker giving Allen a little bit of room over there on the right-hand side, and Valor taking quick advantage of it. I'm amazed at how many passes Washington is throwing right off the bat here in this ballgame, Dick.
First down from the 40. Play action fake, and he does give it off. Good ball handling, but it didn't fool the Iowa defense. Pat Dean, the nose guard, all Big Ten. They call him Gonzo, 6'2" and 260, wearing number 58 with a stop.
Talking to the Washington players, they certainly have a great deal of respect for Dean. They said he doesn't always look like he's going to get into the play, but has a way of slipping off those blocks.
A 1-yard pickup for Ron Jackson at 2nd and 9. This is the 8th play of the opening drive of the game. Going long, he's open. Allen had a couple of steps on the defense, but Valor misfired.
You see Valor banging himself on the helmet, and you'll see why here as we isolate on the receiver. Allen showing excellent speed, breaks away from the defensive back, and he's all by himself down there. I think Valor might have just had a little shot of adrenaline, and that ball just took off on him.
So instead of a touchdown, it's 3rd and 9 Washington at the Iowa 39. Play action and back to the air. The throw to Scansey is incomplete. He was covered. well by that Iowa defense. Todd Simonson, number 37, the linebacker, was with him. So Pelor with a chance at a touchdown. Could not hit his man wide open, Anthony Allen. And the punting team comes on. The kicker for the Huskies is Jeff Partridge, if that name sounds familiar. Partridge, number 18, has an older brother, Rick, went to Utah and kicked for the National Football League. Here's Partridge. His average 40 yards, as you can see, on the season. Jeff Brown, number 27, is at the Iowa 11. Toward the sidelines, not a very good kick. In fact, they're going to mark it at the 23-yard line. Iowa has the ball for the first time when we return, and the Hawkeye fans already trying to spur on the Big Ten co-champions. 3 minutes have been played in this 68th Rose Bowl. Iowa and Washington, no score. Happy New Year, everyone, and we want to wish our buddy Brian Gumbel the best in his new assignment on the Today Show. The Iowa Hawkeyes have the football for the first time at their own 23-yard line after the short kick.
Shotgun. And a shift back to a T.
We're going to see a lot of movement. They use more sets than any team in the Big Ten, maybe anyone in the country. Bohannon from Southern California flipping it out to Bleacher. He's at the 30. And a first down. No, short of the first down at the 31-yard line. Ken Driscoll, number 40, made the tackle. Offensively, it's Gordy Bohannon at quarterback. Phil Bleacher from New Orleans, the leading rusher for the Hawkeyes, and the fullback Norm Granger. The receivers, Jeff Brown, with 20 catches, led the Hawks this year. Ivory Webb, he's from Long Beach, California, is the wingback. And the tight end, 6'7", John Alt. Second down. And a long one. Good interior defense by the Huskies. Fletcher Jenkins, number 65, was there with a shoulder. And it may be a yard gain at best. The offensive line at center is Bill Bailey. The guards for Iowa, Joe Lavellis, and big Ron Hallstrom. He's 286 pounds.
He's pushing 300.
Dave Mahan and Paul Postler are the tackles. Hallstrom, an interesting story. He really hasn't played much football, and all of a sudden the NFL scouts are drooling over his talent. At nearly 300 pounds, apparently has very quick feet.
He certainly does, and watching him work, I'm sure he's an excellent pro prospect. Dick, one of the things we could talk about here, you talked about the exciting plays we're going to see out of this Iowa offense. They really do throw multiple offense at you. As you see, the ball measured just short, but they throw unbalanced line. They'll throw that shotgun formation at you, and they'll throw a great variety of plays. All kinds of plays. He calls them as exotics. He's going to have some wild ones for us today, I think.
And you saw the defensive sidelines of Washington as they were signaling in the defensive signals. Third, you saw the measurement, inches for Iowa. Number 5, Dave Moritz, is flanked to the right. And he moves Granger up on a wing left. Now back into the backfield. One of those unbalanced lines, and it's Bleacher with a first down to the 35-yard line. Ken Driscoll, number 40, assisted by 30 Chris O'Connor on the tackle.
Bleacher, number 26, 28. That's Granger, number 26, blocking for. But Bleacher showing his quickness as he adjusts to that defense and gets outside. One of the things that makes this Hawkeye defense so tough to unravel is that they rarely show you the same formation twice in a row.
Bohannon starts in the shotgun and shifts into the I formation. First down from the 35. Swings it to Bleacher. Good receiver, but well read by the Husky defense, and they drop him for a yard loss back at the 34-yard line. Tony Caldwell and Mark Stewart, the two outside linebackers, made the play.
Let's take a quick look at that Husky defense. Playing so well on that play. Really attacking. Notice that Iowa was trying to sucker them into the kind of defense you'd play against at shotgun. There they are. Stewart, Jenkins, Garnett, Driscoll, and Giroux, and linebackers. Converted nose tackle. They're the defensive backs.
Second down and 11 out of the shotgun. Bohannon to Alt, the tight end, and he's to the 41-yard line. And Chris O'Connor did a tremendous job, and a flag is down. It appears that O'Connor was pushed from behind, knocked down, got up, still made the tackle, and of course now apparently there'll be a penalty against the Hawkeyes. It appeared that Ivory Webb downfield gave him a little shove in the back. Maybe not. According to Bohannon's applause at the news.
No, he's shaking his head now.
It's a great story. Bohannon from Eagle Rock, California, and South Pasadena nearby. There are the officials today: McVeigh, Brazel, Pauls, Sale, White, and Wilson. Now we have a microphone on our referee today, but that was the silent approach. Illegal use of the hands, and it did appear that O'Connor, who eventually made the tackle, did get a shove from behind as Alt made the reception.
Of course, the defenders get some protection when that ball is, as soon as the ball is in the air, you've got to protect those offensive receivers, but the defenders have the rights, have some rights downfield too. Thank goodness.
So the mark off against Iowa is a big one. Taking the ball back to the 20-yard line.
Pass interference, offense, loss it down, third down.
Boy, that's really a rough one, and I frankly thought that the push came after the pass was complete, that it was not pass interference. The Cotton Bowl is a final, and the Longhorns of Texas upset Paul Bear Bryant's Alabama team 14-12, although that was rated close. And another one, mild underdog Penn State, and they totally defeated the University of Southern California 26-10. Some now are wondering if that's John Robinson's last game at USC. Whoa. Nothing there for Phil Blacher as he tries the center of the line. Mark Stewart, number 38 from San Jose, California, made the tackle, and it's fourth down for Iowa.
A look from the end zone. Bohannon will just hand the ball into Blacher's stomach. A little quick draw play, but watch the reactions of Mark Stewart. Tremendous player. 4.55 speed in a 40. Bench presses well over 400 pounds. Marvelous young athlete.
And an experienced junior, three-year letterman. While Iowa will graduate 9 of the 11 starters this year on defense, only 2 will be lost from this experienced Washington defense. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Reggie Roby, the leading punter in the nation, gets it away. And he drills one. Will it come down? Yes, to Horton at the 23. 30, 40, 50. One man to beat Roby. 35. He's all the way to the 29-yard line.
Dave Mahan there to make the tackle, Dick, and that's one thing that Coach James had talked about earlier this week. He said, if this young man outkicks his coverage, we've got a chance to bring it back. And Horton does exactly that right here. Time to set up that picket wall, and good blocking by the punt return team for Washington. And I think maybe if he'd have steamed down the sideline, he'd have gotten about 10 more yards before they'd have caught up with him.
Roby did slow him up and save a touchdown. Horton, who had a 49-yard punt return in last year's Rose Bowl, has a 48-yarder today. After a 56-yard kick by Roby, first down Washington at the 29. Both wide receivers to the right of quarterback Pallur. They picked up the blitz. Pallur is smothered at the 33, a loss of 4. Pat Dean, the senior from West Islip, New York, made the tackle, assisted by Andre Tippett.
Brad Webb also over in on that play. And one of the differences between these two quarterbacks, Bohannon, an excellent runner. Pallur not very good at running the football. Watch him here. He's going to be rushed. Andre Tippett coming from the left-hand side, just blowing through the protection. He decides he's going to have to run the football, and he just gets swarmed under on the right-hand side. Pat Dean coming out to make the first hit on him.
Second down, 14. Pallur, good protection. Overshoots his mark, and it was almost intercepted. Intended for number 25, Ron Jackson, and almost into the arms of Tracy Crocker. Third and 14 for the Huskies. We played about 6 minutes of this first quarter. And and going to school, the University of Washington defense.
One of the things you have to do on the sideline is get together and find out what the other team is doing. And obviously they're concerned about the unbalanced line and the shifting that's taking place for Iowa.
Iowa looking for the pass, 3rd and long.
Screen. Oh!
Incomplete. Intended for Vince Kobe, and it was set up very well. He had a couple of blockers out there, but a little off the fingertips. Pelor misfires, and here comes Chuck Nelson. Just as Roby has been an All-American, a great punter, leading everything, almost a 50-yard average this year. Chuck Nelson, an academic All-American and All-Pac-10 kicker, 29 for 29 point-after touchdowns and 16 for 20 field goal tries. This would be a little over 50 yards. He's kicked 51 yards a couple of times this year. Pelor to hold. Is it long enough? No. And it's a little bit to the left. So Chuck Nelson flirts with a 50-yard three-pointer. But the Hawkeyes come out of it with it still being scoreless.
An excellent kick, and just by a whisker, it dropped on the far side of that goalpost.
Timeout. 8 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Hawkeyes survive the long punt return by Horton. No score.
Dick, at the beginning of this new year, I'd like to congratulate you. Not only were you judged by your peers to be the finest play-by-play man in the country, but you just were given the Emmy as the finest play-by-play man, and all I can say is it's about time. I believed that for a long time.
You know what pleases me most of all about it all was that the people with whom we worked were as happy about it as I was, and of course,
that's great.
We are all part of a team.
Well deserved. Nice to be having a day when we can enjoy such an outstanding football game, too.
You bet. The weatherman has cooperated perfectly. Bohannon, little fake reverse. Now looking for the bomb. It's not there. Running room at the 40 and tackled at the 44. That should be good enough for a first down. 11 yards to match the number on Bohannon's jersey. Ken Driscoll made the tackle. Boy, you talk about razzle-dazzle, Merlin. That had everything.
They wanted to get it deep, though. Bohannon making the little fake here and then looking deep. Good reaction by the defense, but he tucks it down and runs with the football. Bohannon, the 3rd leading rusher on this Hawkeye team, shows you right there why he has been able to be such an effective quarterback during the season.
Merlin, during the course of the year, Iowa outscored their opponents 100 points to 20 in the first quarter. You can see why now. It has to be a tough assignment for defense to adjust to all those various sets. Blacher to midfield. A good gain on first down of about 5. O'Connor made the stop.
Dick, I asked Caden Fry, I said, what are you going to be running out there? And he said, I don't know. He said, we brought the whole arsenal. He said, it's all ready. And what they're going to try and do is test Washington with all the formations that they can figure out. When they find Washington adjusting poorly to a formation, they'll come back and attack them.
He describes that as his scratch where it itches offense.
Scratch where it itches. What he's saying is he'll take what they give him.
Graduate of Baylor in 51 from Odessa, Texas, in his 3rd year now at Iowa, Hayden Fry. 2nd down and 5. Bohannon, option, and he throws that one away. Closest man to the ball in an Iowa uniform was Ivory Webb.
Watch Hayden Fry now. He's going to give the play to Dave Moritz. Now, the men carrying the play in have to repeat it back to him. Watch Moritz now. He'll repeat the play back to Hayden Fry. Ooh, not time for it. He took off on that one. One of the problems they have is that they're concerned about getting called for taking too much time. So I think he just told him to go on that one. But usually they repeat the play back to make sure they've got it right.
Moritz, they like to go him in short yardage. He runs excellent patterns, a finesse receiver. They're almost out of time. 3rd and 5 at the 50. Now the shotgun. Complete to Brown, but no gain. Read well by that Husky defense. Fletcher Jenkins, 2nd team All-American, and Mark Stewart with another big defensive play, and Iowa will have to give up the ball.
Stewart certainly showing us why he has such a strong following in the Northwest. Outstanding plays on the last 2.
He credits an inspiration to his stepfather, who has spent 10 years on a kidney machine. When he says he starts to feel sorry for himself, just thinks of his stepdad. Now, one of the reasons why Roby averaged nearly 50 yards a punt is this situation. He doesn't kick from just the 50. Tom Nickel, and they call this a short kick. If he kicks into the goal line, it's 50 yards.
I think it is short for Roby.
And he pooches it. And it takes a good Iowa bounce to about the 19-yard line. That's where they'll mark it. So Roby never gets a chance to kick one short. Therefore, his range always will be long. Greg I'd like an opportunity like that. No score. Midway first quarter. The San Gabriel Mountains. Yesterday at the big luncheon, the Kiwanis luncheon, over 4,000 people, the invocation was given, and the pastor said, now I want you all to listen carefully because he's in charge of sunshine.
He's in charge of the weather.
And at that time, the forecast was 80% chance of rain, but it is clear, thank goodness. Ron Jackson may have to clear some cobwebs after that hit. He's out to the 21, and Todd Simonson, a 235-pound linebacker from Racine, Wisconsin, made the hit.
Great job on the inside. A nose tackle right there. Dean is quick over to force the play, but it was Todd Simonson who really made the smash here. Watch Simonson hit him straight up right there. A very emotional and very aggressive player. That whole front wall for Iowa. Quick, strong, they'll get after you.
Call it a gain of a little over a yard. Call it second and a long 8. Swing it to Jackson, incomplete, and Pallor was getting dumped as he threw the ball and was off target again. Don James, and happy birthday to the coach of the Huskies. He was 49 years old yesterday. He's been honored with a new extension of his contract as Hayden Fry, his counterpart with Iowa, has been rewarded for his highly successful year.
That was Ray Dorr signaling in the plays there. They're called up still by Bob Stuhl, who's the offensive coordinator, but they all go through the headset of the head man. If he wants to change them, he does.
Pallor to throw again. Has a man, and it's complete to Allen at the 40-yard line. First down. From Garfield High School in Seattle, Washington, Anthony Allen has his third catch.
Watch the move that Allen puts on right here. Little move to the inside. Freezes King, one of the better defensive backs in the country. Gets outside for the reception. Again, a quick look. Actually, Pallor looked away on that play. Excellent finesse by the quarterback.
First down shy of the 40, and Jackson finding again that it's tough to earn yardage on the ground up the middle of that Iowa defense. Jim Picard from Cudahy, Wisconsin, a 6'4", 265-pound senior made the tackle.
Again, you're watching Ray Dorr signaling those plays. Very quick to get those plays from the sideline via signal. A lot safer method in terms of fighting the clock than you get when you're trying to send them in by messenger.
Second down, 8. Almost intercepted. It was intended for number 80, Danny Green, but off target and right into the teeth of a couple of black jerseys. Bobby Stoops back in the game. We're pleased to report number 41, closest to the ball for the Hawkeyes.
Green alternating in there with Scansey. You're going to see a lot of players on the field for Washington, for both teams actually. It's amazing to me the quality of this young team. When, as we said earlier, I think Coach James said next year's our year, and he put some of his best players on the shelf. They'll be coming back as redshirt seniors next season.
Third down, 8. Good protection down the middle to Allen. And it is not intercepted. He caught it out of bounds. Out of bounds. Jim Frazier collecting that tip, but it carried him out of the field of play. So Steve Pallor is 4 for 11 passing, and Iowa will get the ball.
Same play they hit on a moment ago. They came right back to it. King wasn't fooled on this one. He was up to bat the ball up, and had there been a couple of more yards on that sideline, it would have been intercepted.
Pallor, the 6'3" sophomore quarterback, reacting to the fact that that one didn't come up a completion.
He's a little bit worried that it might have come up in the hands of someone else there at the end of that too, Dick.
Partridge to kick, and he gets off a short one. It might have been partially blocked. No, it was not blocked, and the flag goes down. Ball goes out of bounds at the 27, and we're going to have a roughing the kicker penalty on Lou King as he hit Partridge. King, who blocked 2 punts this season.
Partridge still on the ground as the trainers come out. Let's hope he is not seriously injured.
That wasn't an acting job by Partridge. He took a good lick.
Certainly did.
Replaces Rich Camarillo, who has found a punting home in the National Football League.
Take a look at it yourselves. The ball cleanly off. King in too deep. Missed the block point. Actually took the leg of the kicker, but he's walking well happily. And you see the mark off. They've marked the ball 15 yards down the field.
Partridge from nearby Tustin, California, went to Golden West Junior College. One of the few junior college recruits by Don James.
Don James mostly looking for freshmen and going heavily for all of the boys he can get out of his home state of Washington.
15-yard penalty, first down at the 43. Pallor, play action, and he completes it to his tight end, Roseboro, who steps out of bounds at the 36 of Iowa. Roseboro, who replaces David Bale, who was the starter in the Rose Bowl last year. Todd Simonson made the tackle for Iowa.
An indication of the coaching wisdom of Don James and a fine staff. As I said earlier, they had run the ball 70% of the time during the season. I'll bet their stats right now are better than 50%, or at least 50% passing during the first part of this game. They're doing what they have to do to move the ball.
The give is to number 28, Jacques Robinson, into the ball game for the first time. He's from San Jose, one of the few freshmen to see a lot of playing duty, and he really sparked the Huskies in their final 2 games of the year. Came in the middle of the USC game, picked up 42 yards, and then gained 93 on the ground in the finale against Washington State. Robinson is 5'11" and 204 with sprinter speed. First down, Huskies at the Iowa 32.
12 passes and 8 runs so far in the game.
Pallor, as Don James figured, to go against that tough defense of Iowa, having to take to the air. It's Kobe up the middle, inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. Mel Cole, all Big Ten linebacker from Elgin, Illinois, number 31, made the stop.
What Don James would like to do with his offense is to hit Iowa deep, force them to start playing a little bit looser, and then they'll be able to attack them on the ground.
This Iowa team allowed an average of only 87 yards per game rushing. 2nd and 6. Good blocking. Oh, just enough of a piece of the receiver, Aaron Williams, Tracy Crocker, to break up the pass when it appeared that Williams was wide open. Had he hung onto the ball, he had a touchdown.
Watching Williams work in practice, young man has great quickness and agility. Does a good job of getting by the defenders here. Bachman, number 46, comes right back up. Had it in his hands, didn't he?
And Crocker did not have a piece of the play. From our angle, I thought he had made some contact, but did not. Williams dropped a couple of key tries in last year's Rose Bowl. So 3rd and 6 in play action, and Pallor in trouble. Pat Dean. That may take Washington out of field goal range. A 12-yard deficit. Pallor.
Pat Dean coming aggressively, getting good pressure. Had pressured early, but he gets all the way in on this one. Gets a hold of the quarterback and drops him.
Partridge at his own 46. Out of bounds at the 22, so Partridge has not had much success punting. Best thing that's happened to Washington in kick formation was the 15-yard penalty. That one was good for only 18 yards.
Dick, in talking to Don James about the game last year here in the Rose Bowl, he felt that the missed opportunities in the first half of that game cost them a chance to win the ballgame. They've now missed 3 scoring opportunities here in the first quarter of this game. You've got to wonder how many more they'll get. If they don't start capitalizing pretty soon, they may run out of them.
That's right. Pallor missing when he had Williams wide open or Allen wide open for a touchdown. Then the long field goal just off to the left. And now on this occasion, the sack took Washington out of field goal range. Nothing much for Blacher, a senior from New Orleans, Louisiana. As he gets out near the 25-yard line, Jenkins Williams and Giroux, the two all Pac-10 performers on that Husky defense, collaborated on the stop. I want to commend Giroux as well as a member of the academic All-American team, economics major at Washington. The only senior defensive starter along with Jenkins. All the rest of these Huskies will be back next year. Second and 8.
Unbalanced left.
Strobel in motion. Quick toss to Brown. Great block. He's at the 30. He's to the 39 before Leapart can knock him out of bounds.
Ranger, number 26, the man who just leveled the defensive back to make it possible for Jeff Brown to make that fine run. He really knocks it. Watch it for yourselves. You'll see it on the outside now. Rangers number 26, right at the bottom of your picture. Watch the block. If we can see it, you'll probably just see the man knocked down. Look at that. It just leveled him. Stapleton, number 11, the defensive back that was leveled on the play. Big play for Iowa.
Ranger from Newark, New Jersey, helping Brown to a first down at the Iowa 38. Hawkeyes not been here for a while. Forrest Evashevsky brought him here twice, 57 and 59. Both impressive victories for Iowa. Bohannon, receivers covered. And he smothered in a sea of Husky jerseys at the 41-yard line. Giroux was there first, the senior from Mercer Island, Washington.
Dick, one of the unusual things that you'll see for the Iowa offense, their tight ends stand up on the line of scrimmage. And I asked Coach Fry why he did that. He said, well, we had to move a wide receiver in to play tight end. He couldn't see the defenses developing. We let him stand up. And it worked so well that we've done it since that time with our big tight ends.
Let's see the tight end on the far side? You don't see that on many teams. And he says he still can get down and block. Here's Blacher, tripped up from behind. 61, Ray Caddage. Great defense by Caddage of Spokane. Went to Lewis and Clark High School. Submarine, got a piece of the ball carrier.
Right at the end of that run, he grabbed onto the back of the pants of Hallstrom, his big guard. He said, pull me along here, big fella. He didn't get much out of it.
If Caddage's name sounds familiar, maybe recall his brother Bobby. He's playing with the Utah Jazz, 6'9" frontliner. Did his studies at Auburn. Third and long out of the shotgun, Bohannon. That's a draw.
Quarterback draw.
Fletcher missed him. Bohannon cartwheeled down at the 46-yard line by Giroux, short of a first down. Fletcher got enough of Bohannon to slow him down and deny the first down.
One of the toughest plays in football because as a defense, you're trained to watch that quarterback. When you figure he's gone past all of the potential runners, he's purely a passer. Not so here with Bohannon. Just takes a couple of steps back, and away he goes, running that football.
So they mark it at the 45-yard line where it's 4th down and 3. And Roby will kick this time, delivering from around the 35. Horton at the 10 of Washington. Boy, he has thunder in that foot. Horton at his 8-yard line. 20, 25, 30. A marvelous run by Horton. 42-yard punt and a 27-yard return by Ray Horton. He's been the offensive star of this first quarter, and that's the end of the first 15 minutes. They say it was a day just like this in 1902, the first Rose Bowl, when Michigan beat Stanford 49-0. Glorious 65-degree day after a night of healthy rain in Southern California. No score. We open the second quarter. Washington from its 35, and that is a long gain against that Iowa defense as Jacques Robinson picks up 4.
Leading tackler on this Iowa team, Mel Cole, one of the outstanding defensive players. Certainly one of the reasons that they have been so tough to run on this year. That was Jim Picard, number 74, the man who was there to help him make that stop.
You saw the first quarter statistics, basically even. The 2 punt returns by Horton. The difference for Washington, but they could not capitalize. Again up the middle to Robinson to the 43-yard line. That'll be short of a first down by a couple.
Quick look, number 31. Cole right in the middle of your screen there, fighting off the blockers and getting a good shot on the runner there. Cole from Elgin, Illinois. As we said, an all Big Ten performer, and one of the reasons.
Let's hope that's not symbolic.
Let's hope that doesn't mean anything.
The Husky mascot taking a little breather.
Believe me, the Huskies can't afford to go to sleep out here today.
Into the middle, the second effort lunge close to the 45 by Robinson, but didn't appear he made it. Let's see what progress they allow. They had him stopped at the 44.
In a game where inches are so crucial, it's always been interesting to me that spots are made visually and often very unfairly by the officials. They try and do their best, but it's very difficult.
Close enough for a measurement. They see James Carter, 57, the offensive captain, requesting that measurement.
Carter here for his third Rose Bowl. Redshirt senior. He's made all 3 trips with the Washington Huskies,
including that exciting win over Michigan 4 years ago. It is enough, and credit the youngster Robinson for that lunge on second effort to pick up the first down. The official souvenir program for the 82 Rose Bowl game can be ordered by mail again this year. This beautiful collector's edition contains over 140 pages of in-depth scouting reports, special features on past Rose Bowl games, a section on the record holders, and a review of the past season in words and photos. And you saw that address, Rose Bowl program, Post Office Box 827, San Francisco. Pallor on first down. Open is Allen again, and he is to the Iowa 34-yard line with his 4th reception of this first half.
Pallor finding some room between the linebackers and the secondary of that Iowa defense, able to take advantage of it. Quite a gap as he throws over the linebackers and in front of the defenders, just barely delivering that ball in time. You see how much room that Allen had down there. You'll see some adjustments right rapidly for this Iowa team, I'm sure.
21 yards on the play from the Iowa 34. And Kobe gets inside the 30. Close to 5 yards for Kobe, the senior from Wilson High School in Tacoma, Washington. Only gained actually 162 yards and then had some losses this year, so he finishes at a 3.9 average and 1 touchdown. His best game only 42 yards. He's primarily a blocker. No score early in the second quarter. 12:45 remaining before halftime, and it's Robinson inside the 25 to the 23, and that looks good enough for a first down. Pat Dean made the tackle. This could be the story of the game. Jacques Robinson, only 177 yards rushing, but again, he got almost all of those yards in the last game and a half of the year, as finally getting the chance from Don James. And Robinson, who had great talent, taking over from Jackson and Hines and Robinson, and the rest of those at tailback for Washington. Again, it's Robinson to the 10. He's to the 6-yard line. 17 yards, first and goal, Washington.
Don James indicated he was going to play a lot of backs, find out who had the hot hand. Well, there he is right there, number 28, Jacques Robinson. And does he have a hot hand? Very quick acceleration, good job of picking the hole, and tremendous power.
Robinson again, and he's to the 5-yard line, and that Iowa defense covers him well. Robinson now 7 carries for 37 yards. Went to San Jose High School. He was an all-league catcher and first baseman in baseball in high school and scored 40 points once in a high school basketball game. So he was a well-rounded athlete.
Let's see if the Huskies can take advantage of this opportunity. They've squandered several. They need to get it into the end zone.
Whoops, that's always a bad sign. Kobe having to ask his quarterback something and then saying something to Robinson.
They're going to be running short of time. They get it off.
Kobe to the 2. Small hole wedged open by the center Cody and the left guard Carter. In plays thus far, Iowa 15, Washington 32. But no score on the board. As you see, Kobe up the middle. It's 3rd and goal from inside the 2. Kobe. Is he in?
No, he's short. They stacked him up, Dick.
Quarterback Steve Pallure having to battle that noisy group of Iowa fans, and there are thousands down at that end of the end zone.
Last year in that game against Michigan, Don James had the same kind of call. 4th down on the yard to go. He went for it and missed the touchdown. He's going for it again here.
It was the turning point of the game, no question, last year. And so there's been a year to think about this situation, and James goes for it again. Listen to this crowd. Robinson, touchdown! A smaller back might have gone down, but Robinson's 30 pounds heavier than the other men who play tailback. Broke that charge defensively at about the 4 and has the game's first score.
You saw a very smiling face on Don James on the sideline. At the same time, I have to congratulate him for having the courage to make that kind of call. It pays off here. Robinson bursting into the end zone.
6-0 Washington, a 66-yard drive in 11 plays. They consume nearly 5 minutes of this second quarter. And the result the same from every angle. And we've got them all for you today. T, we're pleased you joined us for what is a spectacular day on NBC Sports, the Fiesta Bowl. Charlie and Lenny bringing you that game as Penn State defeated the University of Southern California. And how impressive it was, that victory. 26-10. Rose Bowl Classic, and then on to the Orange Bowl, perhaps for the national championship, Clemson and Nebraska. Nelson to kick out of Pallure's hole. And the Huskies had the extra point. 10 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first half of this 68th Rose Bowl game. And the underdog Washington Huskies have the first score, leading Iowa 7-0. Washington 7, Iowa 0. The Hawkeyes to return. Granger and Buggs are deep. Iowa led the nation in kickoff returns this year. Don James plays his first ace. 4th and goal at the 1, and the freshman Robinson, who got the Huskies to the goal line, scored the touchdown. Nelson to kick it off.
Ball fell off the tee. There it goes. Going back in.
And it's still a granddaddy. You know, there are a lot of bowl games, and some of the critics, I guess some of those here in Southern California especially, were accustomed to SC and UCLA, and some of the Big Ten too. The Michigan-Ohio State crew thought this would be a lesser game. If you were here today, all of that criticism goes far away. This spectacle lives on as the game. Norm Granger, who ran one back 99 yards for a touchdown this year. That was against Indiana. Takes it out to the 26 on a 22-yard return. Nelson, the kicker, good job.
Excellent coverage, too, by the Washington Huskies. Granger averaged 41 yards per kickoff return during the season. That's incredible. And of course, his team led the nation in kickoff returns.
New quarterback for Iowa, number 12, Pete Gales, a senior from Patterson, New Jersey. He started this year as the quarterback for Iowa, was hurt in the UCLA game. Bohannon replaced him, and by the time Gales was healthy, now they're both in there, and Gales in motion. They got 2 quarterbacks in there, and look at the
pass, deep pass.
And it is caught at the 45-yard line. Jeff Brown with a reception. So they slipped that second quarterback in, sent him in motion, and eventually let him throw the ball.
But we told you you'd see some exotic plays from this Hawkeye team. There's the first of the outstanding ones right there. A zipping pass and a good job of getting back to the football by Brown. Just a little motion pattern there by the quarterback. Comes back, becomes a quarterback again. It's interesting play. Got to drive you crazy if you're trying to defense him.
He's out of the game, and Bohannon continues as the quarterback. Good hold for Eddie Phillips, but it closes in a hurry only because Mark Giroux made a solid hit at the 48-yard line. 2nd down and 7. Hayden Fry calls those plays his exotic repertoire. What does Don James call those
Don
plays?
James has some of the same kind of plays. They're his dirty dozen, but he does not use them like Fry does. He'll only use them if he has to use them. Fry incorporates them throughout his game plan.
He said, I've always had to work with a bit lesser talent, and he said, that's the way that I've created an equalizer. You never know what I'm going to do or my teams.
He's right about that.
Good hole, and it's Granger to the Washington 48-yard line before Giroux again, helped by Driscoll, can make the tackle. It'll be third down and about 3.
Kenny Driscoll, number 40, outstanding linebacker, very quick, working right there on Postler, fighting to get to that ball carrier. But as you said, Dick, not until he'd gotten pretty good yardage on the play.
Third down between 2 and 3. Tight end Hufford shifting to the left side. Bohannon could have been a draw. He's got a first down at the 41. He looked to the right at Moritz and then tucked it away for first down yardage. 7 yards in the play.
That may well have been a scramble, but you never know with Iowa. That might have been a design play. Bohannon, the kind of quarterback that you can use effectively as a runner, and you can do that if you have a number 2 quarterback who's good enough to step right in and play. If you only have one quarterback, you'd worry about injury.
Iowa on a march. 8:03 left in the first half. Webb to the left.
Shotgun to the first down. That's a design run again. Yeah. Ooh.
And he fumbles, and Washington recovers. Driscoll made the hit, and number 48 recovered the ball for Tony Caldwell for the Huskies.
We talked about Driscoll earlier, the leading tackler for this Husky team. He gets over. It looked to me like Bohannon might have been looking outside like he wanted to pitch that football. Knocked away from him, and Caldwell makes the recovery, number 48.
The first turnover of the game goes to Washington. The Huskies, with 7:45 left in the first half, have the ball. There's a message, Merlin Olsen, that you know well.
Stay in the face of the quarterback. Skip Hall telling him to get those hands right up in that quarterback's face and don't let him see where his receivers are.
It's a Happy New Year to you all as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Go for it. WDIV Detroit.
The Huskies recovering Bohannon's fumble at the Washington 46. This is Robinson. And he gets only about 3 before Mel Cole makes the tackle. He's 6'2" and 230 pounds. They call him Reverend Mel. He makes an inspirational pep talk to his teammates every week. He refers to the stadium in his pep talks as the house. And today he says, we're playing in the big house.
And it's a full house.
I can't one up you on that. When I ran out of houses, I have to ask Mel Cole for the rest. Dick Kendrick, Merlin Olsen at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Washington leads 7-0. Freshman Jock Robinson has been the surprise. Flags are down. May have a holding call. Pallor carries it out, and it's intercepted by Frazier. He goes all the way, and Pallor makes the tackle.
Play again. You may see the holding, which probably took place right up front here. There it is, right there. Grabbing on the jersey, coming to the side. Now watch the throw down the sideline. Threw right into the middle of the traffic. Never should have unloaded that football.
Frazier, who had 3 interceptions this year, Iowa's ball, as they'll decline the hold. You saw Gardenhire, the left tackle of Washington, holding on to Picard, number 74, and what gives you away is when that jersey starts to stretch out a couple of yards, and they caught it.
Bill Brazier's the defensive coordinator for those Hawkeyes. He's got to be pleased with his troops after giving up some yardage early. They come right back with a big turnover, put the Iowa offense in good field position. Now let's see if they can capitalize on this opportunity.
Washington recovered the fumble of Bohannon at the 46-yard line. The interception, Iowa back to the 33, so they gained 13 yards on the turnover exchange. 7-0, the Huskies lead. Less than 7 minutes left in the first half. That's Webb in motion. The fullback. #68 from Vista, California. Plays the piano, an avid reader, made the tackle for Washington.
Scott Garnett had started at nose tackle. He's out of the ball game now. Matson moved to that position after injuries had decimated these nose tackles, or nose guards as they're called in the college game. Going to march this penalty off against the Hawks. Illegal motion. That's one of the problems you face when you have a multiple offense and everyone's moving. You tend to make some big mistakes.
Illegal motion. Offense.
Third penalty against Iowa, 35 yards.
There you see that stand-up tight end talked about earlier, and he just wobbled off the line a little bit early. You can't do that. You've got to stay and wait for the call.
First down and 15 for Iowa, trailing 7-0. They're at the Washington 38. Bohannon looking long. Double Brown, almost intercepted by Horton, who played it very well. Horton, a junior, had 2 interceptions this year and 6 in his career. He's the man with those 2 punt returns that really has sparked the Huskies.
With the exception of Leaphart in that secondary, this is the same secondary that played here last year in the Rose Bowl. Now watch the great play by number 10, Horton. Knocks that ball away, gets up off the ground. Brown knows that you can't cover a man any tighter than that. Beautifully done. That was a double pump, too. A little bit of out and up.
And beautiful coverage. Larry Cirillo, our producer, and the old pro, Harry Coyle, another of his many Rose Bowls here in Pasadena today, our director. Bohannon going long, and it's intercepted by number 23, Vince Newsom. A flag is down. We'll see against whom. It's at the line of scrimmage.
We may have the same situation in reverse, holding penalty against the Hawks, but if they refuse it, and it is against the Hawks, they're waving it, ball will turn over.
So Vince Newsom, who had 1 interception this year, undoubtedly Washington will decline the penalty and take the ball at the 9-yard line. Hayden Fry, his shoulders slump a little bit.
Fry, as we said, has been ill. Spent the last 2 days in bed, unable to be with his team, and certainly has to be feeling a little more ill after that particular play.
Moritz never had a chance to catch the ball. It wasn't even in his vicinity. Newsom was the only eligible man to go after it, and he made a fine catch. So from the 9-yard line, Washington with the ball, 6:20 left in the half. Reminder, at halftime, we'll have a preview of what should be a most exciting game at the Orange Bowl. Number 1 Clemson against Nebraska's Cornhuskers. And Nebraska thinks if they beat Clemson, they should be the number 1 team in the nation. Of course, Clemson wins it. Who's going to argue with the Tigers?
That's what this day is all about. Bright little eyes like that. Families together.
From the parade right through the game. Is there a better day?
No, I don't think so.
In tight, and a pretty good surge by that offensive line for Washington. Didn't appear to be anything there, and Robinson picked up about 3. Mark Bortz, junior from Pardeeville, Wisconsin, town of 1,500, found his way to Iowa City, where he's an all Big Ten defensive lineman. Second down, 7 for Washington. Robinson now the leading rusher in the game with 43 yards. That's about half of what Iowa normally allows an entire team for a game. Good haul for Robinson. Ooh, and he was 1 man away from a little extracurricular activity. 93, Brian Stratus.
Stratus getting a few whacks in there. This has got to be an emotional game as you watch Don James on the sideline. James, his coaching style rather interesting. Unlike Hayden Fry, who calls all the plays, James prefers to let his assistants call the plays. He says he coaches the coaches. And his strength, he says, is in administration, not innovation.
From the 17, 3rd down and 2. And quarterback Lure didn't want to take any chances and spends a timeout. 5 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down and 2 Washington at the Huskies 17-yard line. Washington leads by a touchdown.
Sports.
That should be a great basketball game a week from Saturday. You know, last year when I wished you happy New Year, start 1981, Father Murphy was way off in the distance someplace. Been a terrific year for him.
Just an idea, but certainly has become a very exciting reality. Do you have any confessions you want to make?
You've heard all mine, and you haven't helped me a bit.
No, that's been a good year. We hope you'll be tuned in with us on Tuesday nights to watch Father Murphy.
And the ratings have been sensational, and continued success to Merlin Olsen. Tuesday nights. Back to the action, and Washington has a first down. Is out to the 22-yard line. Blast Jock Robinson. So the freshman testing that senior-dominated Iowa defense and passing some of those tests rather grandly.
I asked Don James, I said, if you could go back and gather up a couple of your players from past teams, who would they be? He said, well, I won't give you names, but the first one I would look for would be a great running back. Looks like he's found one right on his own roster.
First down at the 22. Pallor to throw from his own end. Almost intercepted. It goes back to Pallor, and he goes to the 15-yard line. That was a mistake. Had he let the ball drop, it would have been incomplete. By catching the deflection, Pallor has completed a pass to himself for a negative yards.
Of course, the man rushing on that last play bats the ball back at him. Purely a reaction on the part of the quarterback. I think it was in his hands before he even knew he had it. And of course, there wasn't much he could do then but run.
And for Pallor, that's negative yardage on the completed pass. Minus more than 1 yard on that play. The line of scrimmage was the 22, and that's about where they get this one back to. So it'll be third down and about 10 as Robinson again gets the call. Andre Tippett, and someone's doing a good job blocking Tippett thus far.
We have not heard nearly as many calls for Tippett, Mortz, and Dean as we would have expected. Let's give some credit to that fine Husky offensive line. They had their troubles early in the season, but they have gotten it together here so far in this ballgame, Dick.
Third down 11 at the Washington 21. Little reverse, Allen, but nothing there at all.
I wonder if that was one of Don James's dirty dozen, bringing one out of the hat. A little razzle-dazzle, but it backfires. Actually, some alert defense. Some good containment by the Iowa linebackers and corners as they came right up and pitched it off.
Two Jeffs will be involved in this exchange. Partridge to Jeff Brown, who's at the Iowa 43. Remember again, both teams blocked 5 punts during the course of their seasons.
5 kicks.
5 kicks.
Not all punts.
And they're close to that one.
Ooh, a line driver, too. That'll be a return ball.
31-36 to the 44-yard line goes Brown. The junior from Fremont, Ohio, has Iowa in excellent field position with 3 minutes and a second left in the half, and Iowa down by 7. Back at the Rose Bowl, where Washington leads Iowa 7-0, 3 minutes left in the half. Home of Larry Cirillo, our producer,
right,
Centerville, Iowa. I wonder how big that town is.
It's got to be a big spot.
For Larry Cirillo to come from
You
there.
bet.
Injured player on the kick return was Dennis Maher from Stockton, California, sophomore for Washington. Big guy, 253 pounds, and an outstanding student, 3.8 in computer science, being helped off the field.
Well, you'd never like to see a man going off dragging a leg like that, but I guess if you were going to get hurt, this might not be a bad game to choose. At least you've gotten through the entire season and gotten this far.
Ball is at the 44-yard line in Iowa's possession. Hawkeye territory, trailing 7-0. The second quarter has marked several turnovers as they've taken turns giving the ball away. After Robinson had scored early in the second quarter, a 1-yard run on 4th down. Bohannon, little screen out to Brown, then a lateral to Phillips. And he's out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and that'll bring tears to you old-timers. That's a play that 20, 30 years ago, every high school college team had that one.
Another one of Iowa's exotics. A little tower pass. You may have another name for it. Ball thrown to Brown. He just simply pitches it out to Eddie Phillips, and Phillips meanders down that sideline for good yardage. Just shy of the first down.
To the 47 of Washington. Bohannon Not much yardage on his 5 completions, only 29 total yards, and he's been intercepted once and fumbled once. Gonna run it again. And Giroux drags him down at the 41, but it's a first down for the Hawkeyes. Actually, Bohannon rushing has almost as many yards, if not more, than he does passing today.
John Peace, defensive line coach, really upset on the sideline. I think he thought there was some action after the play was over. But you're seeing again the extra dimension that a quarterback can add to an offense when he has running ability. And certainly Bohannon has done a great deal of running today, and he's done it effectively, picking up a big first down on that play.
From the Washington 42, trailing 7-0, 2.5 minutes left. Bohannon stumbling and didn't have a chance to hit Ivory Webb. In fact, it's a good thing that pass was short, because Stapleton, the way it was flopping, was in a position he could have picked that off with nothing but real estate downfield.
One of the questions we'd ask about these tight ends for Iowa, could they block from that stand-up position? Had my eyes on Mike Hufford on that last play, and he just wiped out a couple of people, got right down and went after him.
Well, I'd like to remind our audience that the Honeywell Corporation sometime in the second half will announce the most valuable player for each of these two teams, and a $5,000 scholarship will be awarded the university in their name. Gales is in. He's had 1 play, 1 pass, 1 completed pass. He hands off to Blacher. To the 39. Washington waiting for that one. Number 38, Mark Stewart. You didn't get a chance to say it in our setup for this Rose Bowl game, Roland Olson, but you did say last night you thought that Mark Stewart would have a big game, and he certainly has.
I thought he might be one of those surprise heroes. Such outstanding ability, a man who many felt was as good as any linebacker in the Pac-10, left off a lot of those honorary teams, but he's getting his licks out there today.
3rd down between 7 and 8. Gales over the middle, and he misfires. He had a man open. Looked to be Granger downfield. It was the fullback. He was alone. Stops the clock with 1 minute and 40 seconds left in this first half, and brings up 4th down. And the Hawkeyes apparently are going to go for it. If they fail here, Washington would get the ball pretty good position and enough time for the Huskies to march. That's a big call as Fry rolls the dice here late in the first half. Bohannon to throw. He swings it. Incomplete, and the Huskies get the ball with 1:35 left. It was Pete Gales throwing, trying to hit the little swing man, but that was well covered even had it been complete.
Gales, a right-handed quarterback, actually looks to have the drop of a left-hander as he swings to that left-hand side to go back.
So Hayden Fry, gambling on the Iowa sidelines, has lost. Let's see if Washington takes advantage. Here's that 4th down gamble, 4th and 7.
Looking into the eyes of the quarterback, Gales back, wants to flip it out, isolate a back out there. Eddie Phillips, number 18, but a poor pass to Phillips, and I think he'd have been covered even if he caught the football.
Tony Caldwell was right on his pads. First down then for Washington on the exchange at the 40-yard line of the Huskies, and Pelor with a minute and a half left in this half throws to his tight end Roseboro, out of bounds at the 43-yard line with a short gain of 3. Coming up at halftime from the Rose Bowl, and it's always an exciting band show. You'll see both the Husky and Hawkeye bands perform. We'll get an Orange Bowl report. Don Cricky and John Brody down in Miami for Clemson and Nebraska, and highlights. Byron Day will have the top plays of this first half. Probably look at some of the Fiesta Bowl highlights as well. 1:29 left in the half. Scansey in motion. Good blocking for Pelor down the middle. Open is Scansey, and what a catch! They're going to go without a huddle as this Washington crowd on its feet. Scansey with another acrobatic play. He's been doing it for 3 years up in Seattle at the University of Washington. 19 yards on that play, and with 1:23 and the clock stopped so that the chain gang can position itself after the first down. Now it's running. Pelor Oh, he had a man wide open. Aaron Williams overshot him. Let's go back to Paul Scansey. This one deserves a replay.
I asked Steve Pelor, I said, if you only had one chance to throw a pass, which receiver would you go to? And he said without question, Paul Scansey. You see why right here. Scansey makes a bad throw, a completion. What an acrobatic and beautiful catch. And imagine how difficult it is to hang on to that football when you finally come down to the ground.
It's a piece of football ballet. Paul Scansey. He's just a junior. Little move to the line apparently because Andre Tippett bowled over the man in front of him.
Well, that's the tight end, Willie Roseborough. Tippett might get the call there because the tight end can move around and adjust. And that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Illegal procedure. Oh, no, it goes the other way against Iowa.
It's against Iowa because the tight end is allowed to move and shift his position, Dick. Had that been a tackle or a guard, it would have gone directly against the Huskies.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure. Defense.
But the tight end for Iowa in that last sequence, he moved prematurely and they called that a penalty.
He was crowded up against the ball, though, early and was moving as the ball was snapped. He was moving forward. Different thing. The ball was not snapped here.
All right, it's 2nd down and 5 for Washington at the 34. Pelor, they really protected him well. And he hit Scansey to the 19-yard line. First down, Washington. 1:09 left in the half. $15 more yards. And Pelor audibilizing his call. And they now start the clock after the chain gang has moved into position from the 19. Leading 7-0. Oh, 74 Picard almost had himself a present there. And Pelor threw it hard enough that the giant tackle couldn't catch it. Mark Bort, 63, was applying the pressure. And there are the important statistics of this game. 1 minute left in the first half. 7 for Washington, none for Iowa, and the Huskies threatening to get more.
Certainly well inside the field goal range of Chuck Nelson, but they would like 7. They don't want to have to settle for 3 if they can help it. Pelor doing a fine job on this drive. Very impressive in his performance so far today.
This drive following the gamble at the Washington 40 by Iowa. Pelor going for 6 to Scansey. Oh, that's going to be penalties.
Aaron Williams.
I don't think that Williams could have caught the ball anyway, but it was such a blatant hit by the Iowa player. He provoked the yellow flag.
You simply can't knock those receivers around after that ball is in the air. 43, Lou King, the #1 defensive back on this team. But there it is. There's the contact well ahead of the arrival of the football, and the official has to drop that yellow flag.
So it's
in the end zone on the 1-yard line. First down.
55 seconds. Hayden Fry and the Hawkeyes will be tested now, that iron tough defense. They're going to be challenged with 4 shots for Washington from the 1. Kobe didn't get in. And the clock is running. 49, 48, 47 seconds left in the half. Pelor can ill afford to take a lot of time in that huddle. 40 seconds. Remember, Washington took 1 timeout in this half after Pelor on 3rd and 2, deep in his own end, didn't like the call.
Picard and Webb been on that stop, Dick.
Oh, over the top. But Pelor had the ball, and he didn't get in. And timeout is called by Washington with 22 seconds left in the half. Tad Dean, that 260-pound nose guard, and he plugged up the middle. Timeout called by Washington. 7-0 the score. Let's go to Byron Day in New York.
Dick, what a way to kick off the new year and our New Year's Day coverage of the best in bowl games with the Fiesta Bowl. Kurt Warner got the Nittany Lions on the board first following a Marcus Allen fumble. He rambled 17 yards to put Penn State up 7-0 in the early going. But the SC defense struck back. Todd Blackledge throwing this pass into the hands of Trojan All-American Chip Banks. 21 yards later, the score was tied at 7. But Blackledge, not afraid to put it up. This time the results were more satisfying. Here he connects on a 52-yard touchdown pass to Greg Garrity. Garrity steps into the end zone. Penn State steps out ahead 14-7. In the second half, Penn State came out smoking. This time, Kurt Warner capping an 80-yard drive with a 21-yard sprint to the end zone. Then the Penn State defense got into the act. Here they blocked his punt for a safety. Final score, Penn State 26, USC 10. And Dick and Merlin, Happy New Year.
And the very best to you, Byron Day. Good job. The Fiesta Bowl now, history. Big sellout crowd in Tempe, Arizona to see Penn State's Nittany Lions. And what an outstanding coach, Joe Paterno. Undo John Robinson's Trojans 26-10. And we wonder now about the rumors that have John Robinson leaving USC for a possible professional coaching job in New England, or some say maybe even in Chicago. Meanwhile, business in the Rose Bowl. 22 seconds left in the half. The ball is inside the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal. Washington has only one more timeout left. Touchdown! Kobe on the trap. Vince Kobe scored only one touchdown all year. And what a big one today.
That's Kobe, senior captain of this Husky team. Makes it pay off for him here. Twice they were stopped. Kobe refused to be stopped. Just lowered his head and piled into that end zone. A very placid look from Coach Don James. Let's see if he gets a little excited at that touchdown.
Well, Bud Grant may have a college compatriot.
He got something going on inside, I can tell you that. He wanted that touchdown. Block.
Valor. Now he'll try to pass, and he's got a man. Oh! And what a play defensively by number 92 of the Iowa Hawkeyes, who came in, Bill Bradley, to knock it away when it appeared that misfire on the snap might lead to a 2-point conversion. Chris James was open, number 31.
You see the thorough coaching job that these Huskies do, though. They knew right now what they were going to have to do. Man goes out into the pattern, Valor picks it up, and he's got it going. Just a great play by the defender, knocking it away right there to keep them from getting that extra point. Bill Bradley, the man who bounced that football away.
Snap a little high. Valor couldn't handle it, but watch his quick reaction. James, obviously on the emergency, made his break. Bradley denied the 2-point conversion. We'll see how important that is. It's 13-0 with 19 seconds left in the half.
Those missed opportunities sometimes come back to haunt you, Dick.
We remind you again, Washington about to kick off to the team that led the entire nation in returns. Granger and Buggs are back. We'll see whether Nelson just skips it down short rather than giving Iowa a chance to set up a full return. So after the 4th down gamble in Washington territory, the Huskies go 60 yards and add a touchdown, not the extra point. Nelson hits it high, and Granger won't have a chance to return that one. It'll be at the 20-yard line.
What a great kick, though. Right in the corner of the end zone. Deep kick. Both these kickers have gotten the ball up and into the end zone very well today. Chance to put on your shoulder pads and get ready to receive that kick at home. Ball really going way, way into the air and dropping very close to the sideline. Impossible to return that football.
So from the 20-yard line, Iowa with 19 seconds left will have a chance for a couple of plays, and we'll see what Hayden Fry has called. Gordy Bohannon is the quarterback.
He certainly hasn't been conservative in anything he's done so far. Let's see if he goes for broke here. Both
wide receivers are to the right. Webb in the slot with Brown, the leading receiver, far right. And again, it's apparently the draw. And a quick timeout.
Quarterback trap. Faking to ball carrier going inside, and the quarterback spinning around and going the opposite direction.
13 seconds left.
Very unusual play. Another one of those gimmicks, if you will, that Hayden Fry put in for a running quarterback, Gordy Bohannon.
Iowa, while it was their defense, as Hayden Fry is acclaimed, that earned them the Big Ten Co-Championship. They allowed Nebraska, UCLA, Michigan, all only 7 points. Purdue scored only 7. Wisconsin and Michigan State put 7 points in the last 3 games. But at times Iowa had trouble generating its own offense. They lost to Minnesota when Minnesota kicked 4 field goals and beat Iowa 12-10. Illinois held Iowa to just a touchdown. And they've been shut out thus far in this first half today.
the games that Iowa won this year, as you indicated, Dick, they got off to fast starts. And this has been a very slow start for them. You've got to wonder if they can't bounce back. Now, they've also been a very good third quarter team. That's going to have to be their quarter if they're going to get back into this game.
2nd and 6 with just seconds left. Lacher to the 29. The fumble after the ball carrier was down. Mark Giroux made another tackle. 3-2, and that'll be it. The first half of this 68th renewal of the Granddaddy is over. And the Washington Huskies, a mild underdog coming into this game, leave the field with a 13-point lead. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen back at the Rose Bowl, where at halftime, Washington leads Iowa 13-0. And now the University of Washington Band, 168 members strong, directed by William Bissell. The drum major is Rick Thompson, and they take the field with their fight sound song, Bow Down to Washington Special. city, an outstanding university. Let's go to Seattle, Washington, and visit the University of Washington. Preceding message was furnished by the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association on behalf of the University of Washington. And the Husky Marching Band continues its fine halftime presentation. University of Washington Marching Band. Iowa ready to take the field here at the Rose Bowl. It's 13-0. Washington leading at the intermission. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. Rose Bowl halftime. The Huskies of the Pac-10 leading the Big Ten representative, the Iowa Hawkeyes, 13-0. And on the field, the University of Iowa 279-member marching band, directed by Dr. Morgan Jones, the drum major, Dave Woodley. Crowd reacting to Stars and Stripes Forever. This is the 85th anniversary of John Philip Sousa's famous march. And now let's go to the University of Iowa. I'd like to thank Iowa for producing one of my mentors, Dr. Richard Yoakum, who's watching today in Bloomington, Indiana. His Iowa marching band is. We remind you that the preceding message was furnished by the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association on behalf of Iowa.
The Hawkeye band closes with a stunning combination of sight and sound set to a magnificent arrangement of Malaga.
Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Honeywell, you should see what we do with computers. By Goodyear, makers of Arriva, even its footprint tells you it's different. And by Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. Ready for the second half. Washington 13, Iowa nothing. And of course another big game to follow. Clemson and Nebraska in the Orange Bowl in Miami. Now let's go to the Orange Bowl. Don Criqui and John Brody.
We're getting close to game time here at the Orange Bowl in Miami as the Clemson Tigers look to complete a dream season. A win tonight over Nebraska would give Clemson its first national championship. The Clemson players say much of their inspiration comes from a very loyal group of fans that follows them everywhere they play. The Clemson followers are something, and no group has more fun.
I'm an Orange fan in Tigerland. Oh, clap your hands for the Orange man. They call me the Big Orange Tiger football fan. That's me you see us sitting on the 50-yard line. I got a good seat. I'm here, rain or shine. Fellas, can you hear me when I scream real loud? I'm not just another face in the orange crowd. I'm the fan of jumping high and standing in my chair. Surely you've noticed me, 'cause I've got orange hair. I'm an orange fan in Tigerland. Oh, clap your hands for the Orange Man. They call me the Big Orange Tiger football fan.
So the Clemson fans are ready, and so are their counterparts from Nebraska, and so is NBC. And we'll be back shortly with the showdown for college football's national championship, Clemson versus Nebraska at the 1982 Orange Bowl.
Well, for the first 30 minutes of this football new year, it's been a happy one for the Washington Huskies, and not so for Iowa. 13-0 Washington, and a surprising score.
Yes, surprising in a way, except that you have to realize that Don James knew going into this game that he was going to have to throw the football to get after that Iowa defense. And Steve Pelura surprised everyone with his ability to do that. And then they were able to open up that defense a little bit and then crack them with Jack Robinson. So it's been a Washington first half, but you got to remember they outplayed Michigan the first half last year. Michigan came back and dominated the second half to win the game.
And against a very tough defense against the run Iowa, the freshman Robinson gained 60 yards in that first 30 minutes. So at the intermission here at the Rose Bowl, it's 13-0 Washington. Now let's go to the Fiesta Bowl highlights in New York and Byron Day.
Dick, as you mentioned, today is Washington head coach Don James' birthday, and you know he'd like nothing better than a win over Iowa for his birthday present. As projected, it's been a defensive struggle, but Washington managed to tally the first points on the board. It started with this punt return by Ray Horton. He brought it back to his own 35-yard line. Then in the second quarter, Jock Robinson burst up the middle for 17 yards, taking it to the Iowa 6. The freshman then did it all by himself, taking it into the end zone and putting the Huskies on top 7-0. Washington came right back to add more as Steve Pallure hitting his favorite receiver, Paul Skansky, at the Iowa 37-yard line for 19 yards. Then, following a pass interference call, Vince Colby pushes in from a yard out. The point after was no good. At the half, Washington leads Iowa 13-0. We'll be back with more of the 68th Rose Bowl from Pasadena after this.
On awakening this morning at 7 o'clock, you could barely see across the stadium. Now you can see forever. 65 degrees of beautiful January 1 in Pasadena. I can't believe the Chamber of Commerce. They must have some special connection.
They got a pipeline, Dick. I lay there last night listening to the rain, and I said, boy, we got a problem. No problems today, except for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're down 13-0. They got to get back in this game.
They take the field and will get the ball first. They'll receive the kickoff to open the second half. You see Washington dominating the statistics of the first half.
And I really believe that those passing yards opened the way for those rushing yards for the Huskies. Perhaps the biggest decision of that first half, Don James's choice to go for it on 4th down. Instead of taking the gimme field goal, he went right after it, picked up the 7 points in a situation that backfired on him last year. As I said earlier, I give him credit for making that decision. He had to be standing down there and say, not again, because he was heavily criticized by a lot of people for going for it and missing it last year in that same kind of situation.
And in turn, that gave Washington its first touchdown. It was Hayden Fry's gamble at the Washington 40 trying to go for the first down late in the first half. That backfired on him because Don James had time for his team to drive downfield and get a second score.
But let's remember, both these teams have been in the locker room. Hayden Fry's team has come out smoking in the second half as well. Their third quarter has been a very good one, outscoring their opponents 56-10. They go in to make a lot of changes, and I'm sure he's had his troops in there saying, let's get out there and go to work. He's also probably made a lot of changes in what they're going to do. But I would also remind you, Dick, that the Huskies are their best quarter historically during this season was the third quarter, outscoring their opponents 86-23. So if history teaches us anything, this should be a pretty eventful quarter offensively.
Yeah, the Iowa fans are ready. They certainly have not been short on their support of this Iowa team. There's that statistic, 29 yards plus per kickoff return, and they'll get the ball first. Glenn Bucks, number 20. Norm Granger, number 26, will return, if possible, the kick of Nelson. Bucks on the near side. Crowd has lost none of its enthusiasm. Good long kick by Nelson. Granger, no chance to return. Offensively for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Quarterback is Gordy Bohannon, a senior from nearby Eagle Rock, California. Phil Blacher, their leading rusher. Tough blocker Norm Granger at fullback. Jeff Brown, the leading receiver. Ivory Webb, the wingback. And John Alt, that's his height. They reverse it almost, 6'7". Mahan, Levelis, Bailey, Hallstrom, Hostler, the offensive line.
We have 2 tight ends in the game right now, Dick.
Hufford, number 86, joining John Alt.
Both standing up like bookends to that offensive line.
Blacher for 16 yards. Make that Norm Granger, number 26, as they fake the toss to Blacher, and then Granger with a false step.
Little misdirection play. Starting off to his right, cutting back inside, getting good blocking, and exploding into the secondary. One of the bigger gains for this Hawkeye offense all day.
And what does that do, Merlin, to a team? Now, coach has gone in and he's pulled that play out, and when it works, has to give the whole team a lift.
It helps. Fast start. They're getting it here.
And another good gain on first down is Granger plowing out to about the 42-yard line. Defensively for the Huskies, they shut out this Iowa team the first half. Stewart, Jenkins playing another great game here in the Rose Bowl. Garnett, Cantage, and Caldwell. Ken Driscoll, leading tackler. Mark Giroux, leading tackler in the game. Driscoll for the season. Horton had 2 fine punt returns, and Stapleton at the corner. O'Connor and Leapart at safety. Second down and 4. Granger again. And he's got a first down at the 48-yard line. Chris O'Connor and Ken Driscoll teaming up on the tackle. Been a while, Merlin, since we've seen this kind of support for one team. The Iowa fans really came with plenty of enthusiasm.
I'll tell you, it's delightful to be a part of this college football scene and to feel the excitement of these people here. They've come a long ways to support their team. They're proud to see them moving the ball down the field.
From the 48-yard line, this is Blacher to the Washington 49, and Mark Giroux just would not let him get away. A gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 at the Husky 49.
I have to tell you, too, Dick, as a player, do you feel the crowd? You know they're there. And when they're really for you and they're cheering and they're loud and they want you to go, it helps. The adrenaline pumps a little bit extra. You give it a little bit more on the field.
And look at Steve Pallure. He's saying, hey, stop that offense. I don't want to cool off. I'm ready to play myself.
He's had a hot first half. Iowa would like to cool him off a little bit, I'll tell you that.
They played 3 minutes. Iowa's had the ball since the kickoff to start the half. Again, a little misdirection, but Granger is toppled. Fine defensive play by Garnett and Driscoll. Scott Garnett, number 92, went to high school here in Pasadena, California, Muir High School. Broken foot early this year, has returned to the lineup. And of course, it has to be a thrill for him to be in his hometown playing in the Rose Bowl. Let's pause briefly. Station identification. This is the NBC television network. Hayden Fry of the Iowa Hawkeyes, his team 3rd and 7 at the 49, will operate out of the shotgun. Bohannon in trouble. It's complete, but short of the first down at the 45. The tight end John Alt from Columbia Heights, Minnesota. He caught only 1 pass all year, that for 13 yards. That'll be shy of a first down by 3.
I think a few years from now, Alt will be a little bit wiser about where those yardsticks were. He certainly needed to get down there for the first down. Hayden Fry extremely disappointed.
31 yards on his first kick. Oh, he just was tall enough to get that one. And he's forced to try and they had the first down.
No, they're going to have a penalty, though. They had linemen downfield, Dick.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to swallow for the Iowa fans who thought they'd pulled it off.
However, it was a very bright play. If he'd been tackled back there, would have given Washington good field position. Have to see if they're going to take the down away from them here. If they do it, the ball will turn over right where it is.
Hayden Fry trying to get the attention of one of the men in those black and white stripes.
Brad Webb, the man who went in and put the pressure on Tom Nickel on that last play.
And they'll sort that out. Gives us a chance to talk a bit about Don James. You just saw him as they mark off the penalty against the Hawkeyes. And let's see what loss it down if that means Washington gets it at the 40-yard line.
Eligible receiver downfield, offense, 4th down.
It's 4th down, so they'll kick it away.
There is no loss of down.
That was actually Brad Webb that took the reception on that pass. Hayden Fry extremely upset. Not Nichols' fault, however. That center just up over his head. Now they put the shotgun kicker there. Watch the play right there. You see the pass. Webb doing a good job fighting for that first down, but they're going to have to kick it away again.
Reggie Roby, his 2 kicks in the first half for 56 and 47 yards. And he lines this one. Returnable to Horton at the 10. He had 2 outstanding returns in the first half. He's at the 17-yard line, and a flag goes down. The Iowa fans were booing. They thought there was a clip earlier, and then later as the tackle was made, the flag was dropped on the far side.
Kevin Spitzig, the man down the field, on the field.
And Mark Stewart, very valuable player for Washington, injured on that return. You see the young lady there. There are a couple of student trainers, female trainers, on this Washington sidelines.
We've seen Reggie Roby outkick his coverage all day long. We talked about the dangers in that early on, Dick, and they certainly have been hurt by the returns of Horton. But they hurt themselves on that play with a couple of clips, and I felt like the Iowa fans that there was a clip early on that was not called. Chance for you to see it at home. Watch the coverage now. On the right edge of your screen, you're going to see a clip right there. 39 coming in on the back. Right there. That's Erb. James Erb, number 32, fine linebacker down the field.
And it was Jim Rogers, 39, who made the clip, and he was the man who was injured. So from deep in their own end of the field, from around the 6-yard line, is Shock Robinson out to about the 7, maybe the 8. His 60 yards in the first half, certainly a standout statistic against a defense, Iowa, that allowed just under 87 yards to a team per game all year.
Iowa's been a big play defense. They'll take the ball away from you. They're very proud of that. They'd certainly like to do it to Washington right here.
13-0 Huskies, 11 minutes left, third quarter. Ooh, boy, there's some solid hitting. Ron Jackson back in the lineup, and he is hit by Bobby Stoops, 41 initially, and there was plenty of black-shirted help.
Cookie Jackson trying to slip his way up through the center. Not much room at all. Wonder how many pounds of Hawkeyes he had on him on that play, Dick.
Well, you could really feel from that shot the punishment the ball carrier takes. It's a beautiful shot, as if that rose painted at midfield is almost sprouting from the lawns here in the Arroyo Seco. 3rd and 8. Ballure from his goal line, going long for Scansey. And too long, all the way to the 45 of Iowa. Ballure showing the strength of his arm.
A little too much strength. He's overthrown 2 open receivers today, neither of which could have returned a possible touchdown, but the Iowa defense has done exactly what they had hoped to do. They've pinned Washington down. Let's see if they may not gamble and go after it and try and block the kick.
And Partridge, the punter for Washington, has averaged only 26 yards a kick on 3 tries in the first half. He'll kick this one from his own end zone. Brown is deep. Ooh. End over end and fairly short. Brown at the 46. And returns it a couple of yards to the 43. So Iowa in great field position. 10 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Hawkeyes trying to muster a threat. Down 13-0. High over Pasadena. Our Goodyear Blimp Columbia back again with us this year with Tom Mattis at the helm. NBC's own George Simpson is on camera, and Bill Betzner is at the video controls. Some marvelous shots on a postcard day in Pasadena. Don James Huskies lead 13-0. Iowa with 10 minutes left, third quarter, has the ball at the Washington 43. Nothing there. Jenkins and Barnett shoulder to shoulder to deny Norm Granger.
If you're wondering why Fletcher Jenkins is an All-American, watch him here. Takes on Paul Posler, stands him up, takes the ball carrier in hand, and proceeds to move him about 10 yards back toward the opposing goal line. Wonderful play. Folks up in the Emerald City of Seattle obviously have to be pleased with that play by Fletcher Jenkins.
Nature and music. He's an outstanding drummer. Pounded a few beats on that ball carrier.
Put a few thumps on that guy.
Second down, 2 tight ends. Alt and Hufford bookend the line. A little mixed direction to Granger. Good speed. 40, 35. Finally out of bounds at the 30 and a first down. For Norm Granger.
We've seen an awful lot of misdirection plays during this half, and one of the reasons for that is a team that reacts very quickly. You try and get them moving and then go back against the grain. You see the block right here from Hufford going down from that stand-up position, driving Tony Caldwell all the way to the inside and cutting off some of the defenders in the pursuit. And Granger doing a good job of outrunning everyone except Leapart, who finally put him out of bounds.
To the same high school as Andre Tippett, Behringer High in Newark, New Jersey. First down. Intercepted by Driscoll at the 32-yard line. Ken Driscoll. So the number one tackler last year and again this year for the University of Washington shows he can go to the ball as well and has the interception.
Second interception of the day for the Huskies. Second time that Bohannon wishes he had not thrown the football. Throws under pressure here. Fletcher Jenkins again providing the pressure. Just this time that throw. That's hard to throw wide open. Third turnover of the day. There was also a fumble in that first half.
From the 32-yard line, Washington's ball leading 13-0. And they get very little on first down as Pat Dean wraps his arms around Vince Kobe, the fullback of Washington. There's Driscoll, a happy young man. He'll be back again next year.
Got to wonder about the strength of this team with all those redshirt juniors coming back to be seniors next year, and the quality of this team, the kind of experience they've had the last 2 years. Don James has certainly done a marvelous job of putting that program together at Washington.
Well, you can understand how the Washington fans feel they're going to go for the national championship next year. Pallor, plenty of time. There's his man Scansey, and a first down at the Iowa 42. Look at that emotion on the sidelines.
Scansey has really showed us why they appreciate his talents during the year. Tracy Crocker in coverage, but he can't keep up with the fleet Scansey. Ball getting up in the air, and again, a fine catch. Crocker really the man that came across from the other side. He was covered from the backside by one of the other defenders.
As you saw, Scansey's fourth catch and a first down at the Iowa 42. 13-0 Washington. Little draw play out to the 40-yard line to Ron Jackson, a gain of 2. Jackson, a Seattle native, just a sophomore. So Don James has a good stable of young running backs. Jackson's a sophomore. Sterling Hines, who've not seen him, he's a sophomore. And Robinson, the running star of the first half, is a freshman.
It still amazes me how well this Washington team has been able to throw the football, though. I think they certainly have done some careful preparation. That extra couple of weeks getting ready for this game certainly helped Don James and his staff.
2nd and 8. Again, well protected. Pallor dumps it off to Jackson for short yardage. Just a couple to the 38. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Now, James, of course, has touched a lot of people along the way. And just to remind folks of his heritage, and he's got a brother, Tommy James, well known for his defensive play with the Cleveland Browns many years in the late 40s, early 50s. Don was a quarterback at Miami of Florida, graduated in 54, born in Massillon, Ohio. So with those kinds of roots, you might expect he'd make a lifetime of football.
Right out of the hotbed of football in Massillon, Ohio.
On 3rd and 6, Pallor. Complete to Allen. Tackled at the 31-yard line. That's going to be close to a first down. And for Allen, another reception for him. And he's going after a possible Rose Bowl record.
This Hawkeye defense that had prided itself on the pressure it could put on quarterbacks, not getting that much pressure on Pallor. Pallor taking advantage of them there. Lou King, number 43, the man to come up and make the stop. But you'd like to get up there in time to knock the ball away, not tackle a man for the first down.
That's Allen's 5th catch today. He had 6 last year, a total of 11 in the Rose Bowl, one off the Rose Bowl record. First down play to Scansey. Oops, that might be it. Nope, they say it was a good hit. The ball had already passed the receiver. Jim Frazier, number 10, made the play, but he flirted with a flag.
Very, very close to a penalty. Watch Scansey now. Frazier going up. I think they probably judged that Frazier was going after the football, because he certainly did collide with Scansey before the ball arrived.
6:36 left in this, the 3rd quarter. Washington 13. Favored Iowa, nothing. Willie Roseborough, the tight end, out of bounds at the 25-yard line, shy of the first down. A gain of about 6. goes down back where Pallur threw the ball. Let's see if it's holding. Yes, against Washington.
They had moved inside field goal range for Chuck Nelson. This will take them back outside of that again.
And of course, the field goal is so important for Washington, of course for Iowa as well, because at this point Iowa's within 2 touchdowns of victory. If they can make their extra points, a field goal would put some pressure on.
It certainly would. Hayden Fry obviously exhorting his troops. A lot of personal coaching. We talked about the coaching style.
Illegal use of hands, blocking above the shoulders, offense, first.
We talked about the coaching style of Don James. A much more personal coaching style in his relationship to the players for Hayden Fry. He feels that his strength is communication. He calls all the plays, runs the offensive practice, does turn the defense over to his assistant Bill Brazier.
Second down and a long way to go for Washington now from the 48 of Iowa. Screen. Run. Mel Cole, 31 with a great read and another loss.
The Hawkeyes have put that Washington offense in reverse here with a little help from the officials. Mel Cole, number 31, all Big Ten linebacker. He'll appear on the bottom of your screen, coming up rapidly and just puts a smack right there on the ball carrier. Drops him for a big loss. That's third and what, Dick? Can you count that out?
Wait a minute, I got to take out my counter that I received for Christmas. Third down and 36, would guess.
You're glad the coach is signaling the plays here, I'll tell you that.
There's a draw play to Ron Jackson. He gets some of it back to the Iowa 46-yard line, and Cole again makes the tackle. You see Cole in those Pittsburgh Steelers-style uniforms that Hayden Fry selected, and at 31, and the way he hits, it reminds you of Donnie Shell, the Steelers.
That was one of the first things that Hayden Fry did when he came to Iowa. He said, we've got to change our image here. They got a copy of a Pittsburgh Steeler uniform, and he said, we want to look like champions. He's changed the attitude there, not only of the players and the athletic staff and the coaches, but I think of that whole town and that whole state of Iowa as well.
Oh, you bet. They're sold out this year at Kinnick Stadium, and they say they'll be sold out again every game next year. Gonna let that one go, Brown. Could be trouble. No, it trickles into the end zone. Touchback for Iowa. So they'll get... Whoops, they're marking it at the 1-yard line, are they?
No, someone just ran over the mascot down in the end zone. One of the Washington players leveled the bird in the end zone.
Put a jerky on Herky down in the end zone. Breaking the action. The good news is the mascot's all right. Watch 66, Pat Zaskorn as the Herky. Boop.
Herky walked right into him. I don't think Zaskorn even saw him, leveled him. He is up and walking and warned by the officials to try and stay out of the action. Herky wanted to get his beak right out there and go to work with it, I guess.
Did you see Zaskorn? He pointed at him like he had committed some kind of foul.
Sorry about that.
Jordy Bohannon, the quarterback. Iowa down 13-0. Granger breaks a couple of tackles and picks up 5. Hit made by Vince Newsom, number 23. Don James.
No huddle. They come right back.
And the give goes to Blacher. Ken Driscoll makes the tackle short of the first down. So even with a quick huddle, Washington was ready. These are two well-prepared teams. In talking with the coaches, and I know you concur, Merlin, that you have to be impressed with their intelligence, their leadership. They're really solid gentlemen.
I think one of the advantages that the Huskies have had when a team throws as much offense at you as Iowa does, you need extra time to get ready.
4 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter. Shadows starting to grow here at the Rose Bowl. There's a first down and more. Granger all the way to the 45. 16 more yards for Norm Granger, who has had a big third quarter.
Again, using some misdirection, some false steps, some false keys to try and confuse the linebackers. And getting a nice block in there on Fletcher Jenkins to keep him out of the action. Chance to watch Granger now as he uses some swift moves out there in the open field.
And only 6 yards of that total in the first half. This time it's Blacher. Blacher, and he's hit in the backfield by Mark Stewart at the 45-yard line. May have fallen forward to the line of scrimmage.
Just as a part of Hayden Fry's philosophy about attacking a good defensive team, he said if you find a team that is quick and reacts, you can't attack their weakness, you attack their strength. You let them react to a play, and then you go the other direction. That's why we're seeing so many misdirection plays during this game.
Look at the size of 76, that giant guard Hallstrom, 6'6". They list him at 286. He just stands out in that middle. Again, misdirection, and it's Granger again. And he's close to a first down at the Washington 46 before Driscoll can make still another tackle, but it's 9 more yards for the Iowa fullback.
Ron Hallstrom, the guard you just pointed out, pulled the trap, led that play, and just buried Torrey Caldwell. Caldwell had to think he was facing one of those freeways or one of the trucks on the freeway.
Granger having a big third quarter. 76, Hallstrom, the right guard. He's from Moline, Illinois. You look at him, he is Moline, Illinois. Blacher. He has the first down at the 43 of Washington. Ray Kadich made the tackle for Washington. Here comes Moritz with the next play. Fry, a former quarterback, as was James in college. Fry quarterback the Baylor Bears in 51. What a job he's done. This Iowa team, a losing image, have lost 20 consecutive seasons, the longest losing streak per season in major college football. He went 5-6, 4-7, and in his third year, 8-3, and all the way to the Rose Bowl.
He's taken 3 losing programs, turned them around. I'll tell you, the folks in Iowa, Texas, very pleased to have a coach like Hayden Fry.
SMU and North Texas State, previous stops before Iowa. Bohannon keeping the ball himself, and Lynn Madsen, 868, made the tackle at the 38, but a good pickup on first down of about 6. Fry is a second cousin of the late president, Lyndon Baines Johnson.
That record a little bit deceptive because, as I said, he inherited losing programs, had to get those teams turned around. When you consider that record in that light, it's outstanding.
It is indeed. Again, misdirection, and Granger runs into Kadich, 61, and others. Kadich from Lewis and Clark High School in Spokane. Threw the javelin in high school 200 feet. You can see where he got his strength.
Maybe he went to the well once too often. On the sideline, you could see Hayden Fry listening to one of his coaches with a headset on. He doesn't wear the headset, but he has information coming down. He said, "You tell me where they're lining up, and I'll attack them."
Ball at the 37 of Washington, 3rd and 3. Iowa needs a score as time runs out in the third quarter. It's Washington 13, the Hawkeyes nothing.
Sure.
And they did not get the first down as fullback Granger tried the right side and was smothered. Garnett, 92, the nose guard, led the charge. Driscoll was there to back him up.
Hayden Fry faced with another 4th down call. He go right back at it. He said, "We've got to get this or doesn't count anyway." A little bit early perhaps for that kind of decision, but he did it earlier in the game and it backfired. Let's see what this one happens on, or what happens on this one.
With 10 seconds left, actually Iowa doesn't need to run the play. They could use the timeout at the quarter to talk it over, but apparently they're going to go ahead. 4th and 1, Blacher.
Short.
Oh, it's going to be close. Oh, he did not make it. He did not make it. Academic All-American and All Pac-10 Mark Giroux made the tackle.
Excellent reaction by the defense. Quick pursuit. No misdirection here. Mark Giroux, 67. Very quickly up underneath. And Hayden Fry said, "Wait a minute. What's happened? That's twice, and we've lost both times."
And the end of the third quarter. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. It's if the gods themselves are saying, "Happy New Year, everyone," and hopefully a peaceful one for all of this world. What a beautiful day in Pasadena. 3 quarters complete. Washington 13, Iowa nothing. And the Huskies have just held the Hawkeyes at the Washington 35 on 4th down. We open the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Steve Pallure completes it to his halfback. And out of bounds goes Breno DeFeo, who's in for the first time. Number 43, a sophomore from Seattle. It's a first down.
With that completion, Steve has completed 14 of 27 passes for 143 yards on the day. Very impressive stats for that young man.
Pallure sets his line with a first down at the 46. And DeFeo gets the call to midfield. The attendance has been announced. 105,611. They said there was tremendous demand for tickets with so many folks making the trip from Iowa and their enthusiasm. And boy, they crammed their way in. 105,611 the attendance today.
I'd like to have a few more things to cheer about, Dick.
Down 13-0, and Washington with the ball. It's Jacques Robinson close to the Iowa 45. He's going to be short of the first down by a couple. It's interesting. We talked about Don James, how you live in this world long enough, how you cross paths. He was an assistant coach under Bump Elliott at the University of Michigan. He was the defensive coordinator in the late 60s. Bump Elliott now is the athletic director at Iowa. Whereas Bump Elliott has really made the full circle, and that's a different story we'll share with you in a moment.
Whoa.
Tippett can't bring him down.
Whoa.
But has help. Pat Dean finally makes the tackle.
Tremendous pressure, first by Tippett, eventually by Dean, who swarm under Pallure. He was fighting to keep his feet. Watch it yourself. Tippett very quick, just blows right around DeFeo. He's on top of Pallure before he's even set up. That's Webb, number 94, the second man to get him, but it took Pat Dean to finish him off. Three of them to bring him down.
So Partridge will kick. Brown back at the 20 of Iowa. It's 10 men, no. 8 men on the line of scrimmage. Good kick, his best of the day. Brown all the way to the 8. And returns to the 15-yard line. Tackled by Pat Zascorn. He didn't get the mascot. He got the ball carrier that time. 49-yard kick. 12:53 remaining in the game. From the Rose Bowl. We're in the fourth quarter, 13-0. Washington leading Iowa. Just fun to be back with you. I haven't seen you since you left me alone up there in Cleveland.
Served you right. You go there in the middle of the winter. We're going to go back into the teeth of it. Go back to Cincinnati to watch an outstanding game on Sunday. Cincinnati against the Buffalo Bills.
I hope the fans will join us there. And of course, tomorrow more action here. You'll see Miami and San Diego. Don Criqui and John Brody, how'd they work that? They don't even leave the booth at the Orange Bowl. And of course, they're standing by Clemson in Nebraska. What a game that should be for the national championship. Bohannon incomplete. Well read by Caldwell, 48. And O'Connor, number 30.
We talked about the job that some of these assistant coaches have done. Let's doff our hats to Jim Lampright, the defensive coordinator for the Washington Huskies. He's had to cope with the innovative genius of Hayden Fry. I'm sure he's been awake all night long wondering just what was going to come at him. But he has prepared his defense well, and they have responded extremely well to a difficult variety of sets and a number of very unusual plays.
Bohannon's had more success running the ball than throwing it today. Going for the bomb. That was number 89, Charlie Jones. He did not play high school football. He did not play college football. He's completed his 4 years as a track scholar at Iowa. And Hayden Fry says, I need some speed. He went after Jones, a 9.5 sprinter. He, in the first game against Indiana, caught his first pass, 51 yards for a touchdown. And they were hoping to slip him into the game unnoticed today and get him deep.
Well, if he'd have been a 9.4 sprinter, he might have caught up with that football, Dick.
Good point. Everything is relative, isn't it? We have a timeout at the Rose Bowl. 12 minutes and 40 seconds remain. Iowa, as that clock ticks away, becoming more and more desperate. That's the big one. #1 Clemson against Nebraska. The third crown for us in our triple header on NBC Sports today as we start this new year with a big football bang. So stay with us right after the conclusion of this game. Third down, Bohannon, a fake reverse. Can't find a man open. 20, and he didn't get the first down. Tackled at the 23 by Scott Garnett. Great coverage by the Husky defensive backs as Bohannon just could not find a black shirt in the open.
Bohannon faked the old Statue of Liberty play, stood for a moment, then dropped back. Looked to have a couple of receivers open early, and Hayden Fry has elected not to gamble on fourth down deep in his own territory. He'll kick it away here, hope they can get a turnover. They've got quite a bit of time left. They're a quick striking football team, a much better equipped team to come from behind than perhaps the Huskies themselves. So they haven't really gotten themselves out of this game yet. They need 2 big plays to be back on top in this football game.
12 minutes left. We'll see if Roby indeed is going to kick or whether they fake it. 4th and 1. Now Roby with that powerful leg gets another long one to Horton at the 25. And down he goes at the 31. Good coverage by the Hawkeyes. Number 80, Dave Strobel, made the tackle. He's from St. Paul, Minnesota. Oh, Washington with a lead has the ball again. 11:33 left in the game. Washington's Huskies leading Iowa 13-0. Time running out, 4th quarter, 11.5 minutes left. Washington's ball after the punt, just outside their own 30. Scansey in motion. And a little option toss to Jacques Robinson. Boy, does he have acceleration. What a great first step when he made his cut upfield. Gain of almost 15 yards. Make it 14.
Don James talked about trying to run more option plays. He said, we're not a good option team, but watch the kind of quandary it puts number 99, Mel Tippett, in. To Andre Tippett. Tippett obviously having to play the quarterback. Jacques Robinson taking the quick toss, getting outside, getting downfield before Mel Cole is finally able to get over and put the stop on him.
It was 15 yards, and it's a first down at the 46. Robinson again, a little misdirection, turnabout's fair play, and he's all the way to the 37-yard line. And Mr. Jacques Robinson, only a freshman from San Jose, California, with that run has gained more yards individually today than the average teams did against Iowa all year.
Robinson showing again natural instincts of a fine running back to go with those magnificent physical tools. 17 yards. He's 6 for 97 yards total today. Wow.
86.9 was the average allowed an entire team by Iowa through the 11-game schedule.
Let's go, dude!
Washington with a 13-0 lead. It's Colby to the 35-yard line, a gain of a couple. Chris James, number 31, now will come in at fullback for Don James. We're talking about Bump Elliott, the athletic director now at Iowa. He first appeared in the Rose Bowl as a player for Michigan in '48, that great Michigan team that won 49-0. Then came back as an assistant coach. That was with Iowa. Came back as a head coach at Michigan. Came back as assistant athletic director at Michigan. And now he's here with Iowa as their athletic director. So talk about the complete play. Bump Elliott of Iowa has been here 5 times in 5 different capacities, but always as a winner. Floor, 2nd and 7. Almost intercepted. Intended for Allen on a pass that would have tied a Rose Bowl record had he caught it.
I'm a bit surprised to see Washington still throwing the football. Obviously, offense concerned still about the striking ability of their opponent. They're not willing to just grind it out and try and eat that clock up.
3rd down and 7. Hayden Fry in contact with his assistants upstairs. Jacques Robinson. He's at the 20. Might go all the way. He has a touchdown. The Washington Huskies have found themselves a new star.
Don James said we'll play a number of backs until we find one with a hot hand. He got one with a smoking hand in Jock Robinson, and the freshman has certainly had his finest hour here in the Rose Bowl this afternoon.
And you see Don James not caught up in the enthusiasm, his head in the game. He realized after missing the extra point, he wants his Washington team to go for 2 apparently, and quickly got one of his backs in there, DeFeo.
And he has a special team. That's why he had to do that. He had to get different personnel onto the field.
Going for the 2. Allen in motion, and they took too much time. So in the confusion, they exceeded the 25 seconds. That'll give us a chance to again appreciate the talents of one Jock Robinson.
A very quick play. I think the whole team on the Iowa side of the line was thinking pass. Jock Robinson had one thing in mind, getting downfield. He saw that end zone. He just powered his way in. That young man is impressive, Dick.
Made a lot of nice moves, and he outran. A lot of folks would have gone down with Tippett on your heels, but not Robinson. And Tippett, we'll see it from his perspective.
Delay a game, offense.
That won't change the strategy. Washington will still probably go for the 2.
One of the things that happens to a team when they're down like this, they begin to press a little bit to try and make the big play. And when you're playing catch-up football, you're playing low-percentage football. You're taking risks that can backfire on you. That's certainly what happened there to Iowa.
So the 2-point conversion from the 8-yard line. Fuller, he's got his man, Scansey, 2 points. Andre Tippett beside himself.
4 Iowa Hawkeyes, 2 on each side, and Fuller threaded the needle to Scansey. Let's go back and take another quick look at that earlier touchdown. You see the change of direction there by Robinson. The click on the heels. He stayed up. Tremendous power in those hips and legs. And now a quick throw from Fuller as he threads the needle right down the middle.
And with timeout, 9:47 left, Iowa needs a lot of help. 9:47, and the Hawkeyes need something dramatic as they've fallen behind 21-0 to the University of Washington. A rebuilding year, they said at Seattle. You won't be able to convince Hayden Fry of that. Washington making the big victory, keeping alive by defeating USC in the second to the last game, and then needing help, got it when USC defeated UCLA. The Huskies, meanwhile, beat Washington State and earned the trip in. And they say that if you think they're good this year, just wait till next year. Granger and Bucks are deep. To Granger's side. At the 2. And a little hold, but a good tackle made to stop him from going possibly all the way.
Andre Tippett, All-American stand-up defensive end. We'll show you one reason why. Takes on 2 men at the line of scrimmage. The ball carrier goes inside of him, finally locates the ball carrier. Now watch him come from behind. A full run, and he'll catch up right here, dive, and almost get a saving tackle on Jock Robinson, but not enough to trip him up. Fine pursuit, fine effort, but just a little short.
Robinson on that drive of 69 yards accounted for 66 himself. Injured Husky going off the field. Appeared to be Lynn Madsen. Might have been 58, not 68.
68 still on the field. Nose tackle.
David White Knight is the injured player. Bohannon. Caught from behind and fumbles. And the Huskies say they have it again. They do. That's the 4th turnover. Bohannon has fumbled twice and he's been intercepted twice. And all the cheers are from the Washington side. Was the man who made the tackle and stripped the ball away from Bohannon. Washington will own it at the 19-yard line. They have a 21-0 lead, and now they're looking for some frosting. Now Washington Huskies a surprising 21-0 leader, and they have the ball in position for more at the 19 of Iowa. New quarterback Tim Cowan. He's a junior from Cerritos, California, and he gives to Jacques Robinson. And the irony of it all, one of the greatest athletes in the history of sport, Jackie Robinson, who grew up in this area, attended UCLA, and not quite a namesake, but close. Jacques carrying that name to a headline story today. He was so good in the other sports, baseball and basketball in high school, he wasn't really taken seriously as a football candidate, was not highly recruited, meandered up to Seattle, and are they happy? This is Chris James, the fullback from Tacoma, 223-pounder. And he's down to about the 12-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 3. The last shutout, in case you're wondering, in the Rose Bowl was in 1953. We have to go back when USC blanked Wisconsin 7-0. Rudy Bukic that day was the most valuable player, the Trojan quarterback. 30 years almost ago. Ooh, Robinson, you can hear the pads pop, and Robinson is to the 4-yard line.
Brian Stratus, the man coming up right there to take on the lead blocker, Chris James. But he needed to hit another man. He needed to hit Jack Robinson, who continues to shred the very powerful, heretofore powerful run defense of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Now, he was around the 6th-string tailback at the start of the year and the star of the Rose Bowl. Robinson again. What did we say at the start of the show? 2 Cinderella stories. And he's got 3 more years after this one. You know, it's a season for these 2 conferences, the Pac-10 and Big Ten, Merlin Olsen, where the underdog, the surprise team, the Cinderellas made it. So I guess it only figures that the team that was the underdog today should be the dominant team, and Washington was the slight underdog.
Averaging over 7 yards per carry, 20 rushes, 142 yards on the day.
140 yards by Robinson. Oh, Cowan keeps it himself for a touchdown. To taste sweet for Tim Cowan, who injured his right thumb in the 2nd game of the year against Kansas State, lost his job to Steve Pallor, gets a chance to score a touchdown in front of his home folks in the bowl today.
Chance to look at it, little fake inside. Cowan just tucks that football away, and he knew where that goal line was.
27-0 Washington. Very impressive today. Again, too, Merlin, when it goes 28-0. We're all guilty of trying to judge teams that don't play by scores against common opponents. Boy, you really would have been off course on this one. We'll tell you about it in a moment.
Thank you, Dick. The excitement level is record high here in Miami, Florida, as we all find out tonight if Clemson can beat Nebraska and win college football's national championship. Despite the #1 ranking, Clemson is the underdog in this game. We're going to find out a lot very shortly. Now back to Dick Enberg at the Rose Bowl. Dick?
Thank you, Don. Of course, the underdogs have enjoyed this New Year's Day. Penn State was an underdog to USC and victorious earlier in the Fiesta Bowl, and underdog Washington leading Iowa 28-0. Kick comes down to Granger at the 7. And he is to the 29-yard line. Just to complete our point on the common opponents, during the course of the year, both these teams played UCLA. Washington lost 31-0. Iowa won 20-7. Based on that common opponent, Iowa was 44 points better. The score, Washington 28, Iowa nothing here today.
Comparative scores can get you in a lot of trouble.
You bet they can. yards passing. And it figured Washington would have to go through the air, but it didn't figure that once they were so successful, they'd run the ball so effectively.
We talked about that right at the beginning of the game and in the pregame show. The fact that James was so happy to see this day clear and dry because he knew he was going to have to throw the football.
Pete Gales is the quarterback now for Iowa. Oh, he's got a rifle, and he gets it to Brown complete and out of bounds into the arms of Washington coach Don James at the 45. Jim Rogers rather, is now in at safety for Chris O'Connor. Made the play.
I'm sure that Jim Lambright has his people playing deep, though. Don't give them anything deep. Keep them in front of you. If you have to let them take the football, make sure you tackle them, get them down. 7:01, counting down. Sun setting on Iowa's hopes for Rose Bowl victory, but it certainly has been an outstanding year for the Hawkeyes, no matter what happens here today.
And look at their fans down here, Merlin. They're still standing with a band, waving their pom-poms. They've had a great time out here in Pasadena. You know they're going to be there in force again next year. Gales hits Brown again. And his progress will be allowed about the 46-yard line. Rogers again made the tackle.
Dick, looking back on this game, much of the speculation after the game, I think, will center around three critical fourth down calls. One that Don James made that turned into a touchdown, and two that Hayden Fry made that backfired. And I'm sure he'll be criticized for that. But I think one thing you should remember, if he hadn't been playing that kind of aggressive, abandoned football during the year, these Hawkeyes wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely. And they seemed to be reasonable risks at the time. It just was a Washington defense that stopped the play. Gales on a screen. Eddie Phillips is the man in there now for Blacher, and he's to the 40-yard line, and that'll be an Iowa first down. And they're trying to shake off the possibilities of a whitewash loss in Pasadena, trailing 28-0, and there you see the time remaining, 6:09. Stay where you are. Immediately following the conclusion of this game, we'll go to Don Criqui and John Brody, the Orange Bowl in Miami, and you know that place is just teeming with excitement. Clemson #1, Nebraska #4. Phillips. And he's out of bounds at the 33 after a gain of about 7. He's from Chicago, Simeon High School, and was the #2 rusher for the Hawkeyes this year with 543 yards. The UPI poll at the end of the season read this way, with Clemson on top. They face Nebraska 4. Texas won today against Alabama. Penn State won today against SC. Washington was 10th. Iowa 11th. Gales pump and go, and he has a man open, or does he? No, it's intercepted in the end zone. #3, Derek Harvey, another of the many juniors on defense for Washington. Ivory Webb didn't have a chance.
Derek Harvey, a starter last year, lost his job this year, came back in a reserve role, got back to where he was playing second team, now gets a chance to pick up an interception. Gales overthrowing his receiver here, but again, the Washington Huskies wouldn't let anyone behind them. Two defenders back, actually in better condition to have a shot at that football than either of the receivers, Brown or Harvey.
You see two receivers in the same picture at the same time. They drew the two defenders right to the ball. Didn't have a chance. Now Washington will try to chew up as much time as they can. 5:40, and in a classic that has had so many tremendously exciting games, this has been about as lopsided as any for a long time. 28-0 Washington.
One of the things that you see Derek Harvey getting some congratulations from his teammates. Wants to clean up a little bit for his folks at home.
Sterling Hines, he was a Canadian high school sprint champion from Ontario, Canada, and and gained 155 yards this year. He's in the backfield for the first time, and Stephen Derrick, number 6, is the new quarterback for Washington. Well, in terms of scores, being somewhat out of proportion, in 73, USC beat Ohio State 42-17, but the Buckeyes came back the next year to knock off SC 42-21. Those games were a lot closer than the scores might indicate. That is not Vince Albritton, but Albritton does wear number 6, but he wears it on defense. That's number 6, Stephen Derrick.
Whoa! And Buckeye defense has not quit. They're still coming.
DeFeo would attest to that. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Go for it. WDIV Detroit.
Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen back at the Rose Bowl. Clock ticking away. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left.
Both coaches now putting young players into the game to give them a chance to say they played in this classic.
Number 22, Hines, and he did not get to the 30-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down.
One of the unpleasant tasks that faces Hayden Fry and his staff and their recruiters is replacing all the seniors that they'll lose this year. A very dominant senior crop, and they're going to have to do an awful lot of rebuilding over the next couple of years.
Our silver blimp bringing us those exciting picture postcard scenes of the 82 Rose Bowl game. Special part of our telecast. Again, just short yardage for the Huskies. Hines, and they'll have to go into punt formation with 3:23 left. James Erb from Wellman, Iowa, made the tackle. And to Hayden Fry, his staff, the University of Iowa, our thanks for their cooperation. Hayden, who grew that mustache this year. I had the pleasure of emceeing the Big Ten luncheon back last summer, and Hayden came out with a mustache, and he said, "I'm promising you it's going to be a hairy time for the Big Ten when they play Iowa." And he was prophetic.
He certainly was. Ron Hallstrom getting some work on his knee on the sideline.
Partridge. It's a good one to Jeff Brown at the 27. Oh, my. Hit immediately by number 2, Aaron Williams, the wide receiver. 40-yard punt. We have a timeout. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left for Iowa to try to scratch that 0 off the scoreboard.
We're almost ready to go with the 1982 Orange Bowl. Clemson, number 1 in the country, is the underdog, and that's fine with Coach Danny Ford and his Tigers. They're very loose and confident.
Iowa with the ball trying to snap this shutout bid. And they've got a new quarterback, Tom Grogan. But the granddaddy is right here. Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Look at these Iowa fans. You think they haven't had a good time out here in Southern California? Their team down 28-0. If you just walked into the stadium and looked at the scoreboard, you'd think that their team was in front.
You'd think there was a mistake up there. But no mistaking the quality of the Rose Bowl and the excitement it's generated over the years. I just am thrilled to be a part of it, Dick.
Absolutely. It is one of the top sports experiences anyone would want to ask for, whether you're a fan or an announcer, or certainly as a player. Grogan, not related to Steve Grogan, hit down at the 31-yard line, but he's getting a chance to win some spurs in the Rose Bowl. He's from Kansas City, Kansas, 6'3" and a sophomore, and obviously not superstitious. Although Hayden Fry may well be after this one.
Very difficult to come out with high hopes and aspirations and not feel a little disappointed at the outcome of this game. But the Hawks have had a great season.
It reminds me of the reaction of the Iowa fans, and I'm just amazed. I haven't seen anything quite like this. It's like the marathon in the Olympics where fans stay and cheer the man who finishes last. They're showing the appreciation for having been in the race and to give Iowa something of which they're very proud, a co-championship in the tough Big Ten Conference.
The other thing I like is the fact that all of those players are still up front. They're on the line. They're not laying back and sitting down with their heads down.
1:05 left. Grogan goes down. We want to thank all of those who have been responsible for this telecast, but another piece of business, we want to announce the Honeywell Most Valuable Players for today's Rose Bowl game. For the University of Washington, freshman Jacques Robinson, and from the University of Iowa, their fine linebacker, all Big Ten, Mel Cole. A plaque in their honor, their achievement in today's game will be presented to them. In addition, Honeywell will donate a $5,000 check to the General Scholarship Fund of each university for their participation in today's game. This money will be used to assist students in their chosen fields of academic interest. Second down and 19 yards for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and they're trying to manufacture a final bid for a score, trailing Washington 28-0 with only 53 seconds left. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer of football, Ted Nathanson. Telecast of this 1982 Rose Bowl has been produced by Larry Cirillo, directed by Harry Coyle. Pre-game producer, Terry Ewert. Pre-game director, John Filippelli. Technical director, Ray Figelski. Associate director, Jim Marcioni. Associate producers, Mike Hadley and Peter Rawl. And our thanks to all the rest of the men and women who provided us with the great pictures and sounds of this Rose Bowl festival today.
And our thanks to whoever it was that arranged the weather.
Absolutely, Father. Chuck Long now getting a chance to carry the ball, the quarterback. I also want to thank in the booth Dennis Mnuchin and Chuck Panama, Jacques Prote, as in the spirit of Jacques Robinson, Art Hoffman, and our statistician non-Pharrell Joe Costanza. Many of these people that you see their names on the screen now are going to be heading with us to Cincinnati for the playoff game, the Bengals and the Bills on Sunday. But right behind us is the Orange Bowl, and it's just seconds away. As for the first time in nearly 30 years, apparently, we're going to see a shutout here in Pasadena. 9, 8 seconds, 7, 6. The University of Washington and Coach Don James have won the 1982 game 28-0. James, 49 years old yesterday. It's a day late, but he'll accept a marvelous present from a great young team that can only have a brighter future. We'll be right back.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. We serve more of this land's top 100 business centers than any other airline. Fly the friendly skies.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by Hilton. When American business hits the road, American business stops at Hilton, America's business address.
That's a nice scene at midfield. Both teams congratulating one another. Final impression, Merlin Olsen.
I think perhaps the loss last year was imprinted on the minds of these Washington players. They came back here with one thought in mind. Let's get through the festivities, but let's win this football game, and they've done it.
Well, it's been a year of the underdog in both the Pac-10 and the Big Ten and many other places around the country. And in that spirit, and most Americans love the underdog, Washington prevails today. That's it from the Rose Bowl. Now let's go to the Orange Bowl and Don Criqui. This is it. The national championship of college football is on the line tonight at the 1982 Orange Bowl. Miami, Florida has delivered magnificent weather as the #1 team in the country. The unbeaten, unclied Clemson Tigers, a Cinderella story, take the field against 4th-ranked Nebraska, a team which has won its last 8 games. A team the Nebraska coaches feel is the best at that school in a decade. Tickets are always at a premium for the Orange Bowl, but never has the demand been as great as it is for this 48th renewal of one of the hallmark events in college football. They're here from all over America tonight to see if Clemson can complete a dream season, unbeaten, untied, and win a first national championship. Right now, we find out as the battle for the national championship is ready to begin.
Bonanza here on NBC. It was a great Fiesta Bowl, billed as a battle of the tailbacks, Marcus Allen of SC and Kurt Warner of Penn State. But today, it was all Kurt Warner, leading Penn State to a 26-10 victory, leaving John Robinson and the Trojans with very little to smile about. later, it was on to Pasadena for the 68th Rose Bowl, featuring the Washington Huskies and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Two strong defensive teams, but the Huskies, with a stronger running attack, gave their fans a lot to cheer about.